Alrighty. Hello, hello. We got a tournament today. I'm playing this Khorne. And I'm gonna be doing some shenanigans because a little while back I took on a bunch of donations to try out some crazy strats. And might as well complete them. There's quite a few. Quite a few that I want to get through. It'll also be pretty good practice, because then I can really try hard even against, you know, mid to lower players. I'll also get to experiment with some units. I would like to try this Chevron Blood Crusher strat. That should be interesting. There's also some stuff like maxing out on chariots, spamming heroes. It'll be a good time. Yeah, Khorne's back on the menu. It turns out there's actually a lot of requests for Khorne. The Lore Throw one is interesting. I feel like, you know, if I get a Blood Speaker, he's fairly YOLOable, right? Fairly. Because then I can also get his abilities back. We'll see. How expensive is the ROR Blood Crusher? I guess it's cheaper. So I should probably take the ROR instead of, there you go. Instead of just chevroning this. Holy crap, he's so much cheaper. All the people who like chevrons are drooling over this guy. Mantle of Immolation. Melee defense -5. They actually have pretty decent stats. I think, yeah, they have decent stats. They have good HP. Why are Blood Crushers bad? Probably because they cost so much money. It's cheaper. That's insane. It really shows that chevrons are kind of whack. But alright. Any last minute check-ins? We'll let people get them in. But I think we can generate the bracket now. There's a lot of signups. So I'm going to create 5 rounds. It's 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. We got a 5-rounder. Goblins. Tourney has begun. For round 5, use the any additional rounds maps, and you will need at least 4 wins to make it to top 4 / tie breakers. All right. So all that out of the way. Let's begin. I am up against Pizu to start. Yo. I'm Khorne. We'll send them the lobby code. And then I can start thinking about these challenges. Whoopsies. Let me just swap out the blocker. There we go. Oh my gosh, Blood Crushers. Blood Crushers. Oh boy. This will be interesting. And he's Slanesh? Oh boy. Alright. We're gonna need some light memery. Let's see here. So Bleak Spire's banned. Let's play Celestial. Uh-huh. Just a little bit of last minute adminning and then we should be good to go. Most racist faction? They're all pretty racist. In the actual tabletop, they had rules to be stronger, specifically against factions that they hated. Like I remember dwarves. Dwarves had a rule that made them stronger versus greenskins or something. Alright, Celestial. So, alright. I gotta beat Slaanesh. If I am to beat Slaanesh, are Blood Crushers of Khorne good versus Slaanesh? Okay, they're anti-infantry armor piercing. Mantle of Immolation's a -5 or a debuff. Okay. It gives weakness to fire. Do I have fire damage dealing dudes? I guess I have Exalted Bloodletters. I guess Slaanesh can't really kill Exalted Bloodletters. So maybe that's hype. I could try to take Skull Reapers versus Slaanesh. Let's see here. Okay, I feel like the... Oh, man. Are the Blood Crushers good? Are they good versus Slaanesh? Slaanesh has so much armor piercing. Let's see here. Two X Blood Crushers. I could go. Okay, Chariots are not going to be good versus Slaanesh. All right, sure. Let's just try these guys. Max Khorne Halberds.
Well, while we at it, Max Khorne Halberdiers.
Let's see here. Halberds is not bad in this situation. Might be able to do that right now. Appreciate the Danish corner, by the way. I think I could actually make that work. Okay, so against Slaanesh, the biggest thing you got to worry about is winning the frontline fight. Let's see here. Okay, yeah. The biggest thing you gotta worry about is winning the frontline fight. And then you're kind of fine, right? You can kind of just box it after. Does that mean I can win with the War Shrine? Okay, the War Shrine gives damage resist aura. Okay, I'm not gonna bring a War Shrine though, right? Or am I? Alright, wait. Man, this matchup is so different from how it was before. I feel like, yeah, I feel like this matchup is... I feel like it's way different from before. Alright. Frontline fight should be fine. And then... let's see here. I gotta be able to kill Hellstriders and such. I'm pretty sure Khorne just really crushes it on the frontline situation. I guess the problem is Slaanesh can take some skirmishers. Weirdly enough though, Slaaneshi skirmishers are not armor piercing, though they do have devastating flanker. In general though, not really a big problem, right? At least I don't think so. Let's see. Whole army will have ITP. Let's see. Do I want melee cab though? Oh man, I almost want to run Skull Crushers, but something tells me they're just gonna die to fiends. Like, they do have bonus versus large. It's only 10 though. What the crap? Okay, if not them though, then what? Like what? Minotaur Great Weapons? That's not terrible. Alright, sure, let's try this out. I feel like this could be not bad versus Slaanesh. Your first multiplayer game was against Danican? Ooh. A lot of learning then. It's okay. You gotta see where the end of the race is before you start your sprint, right? You crushed him obviously too, right? Like you just you know, I heard he's pretty chump change. All right, here we go. I don't know what you're asking about, tinkering. All right. Trying out Halberd Max and start off. So this was literally just donated. The idea here is that I'm pretty sure my front line just hard wins here versus Slaanesh on account of having Wrathmongers. Wrathmongers, yeah, they have magic damage. They have armor sundering. So they should just win. I have Scarbrand. Hopefully he can out micro the enemy lord. Couple skirms, couple furies. But yeah, it's just a Forsaken front line, which is not that efficient versus my composition here. So overall, feeling not bad. I will need some sort of counter skirmish though. But in a straight up fight, we definitely win this. Furies are actually not super bad either, because we kind of dumpster. We kind of dumpster Furies with our skirmishers. I just have to make sure that my army stays relatively close together, doesn't overextend, and that should be okay. The skirmish fight begins. Surely he doesn't go for these halberds over here, right? He might. He might. Furies are actually getting pretty feisty too. Diving on in, but if they get a little too close, then suddenly they're dead. And that's one great thing about Scarbrand. Very good. He's very good at teasing out misplays with the use of a single ability. We have annihilated 650 gold from the hands of my opponent. It's a lot of cavalry here, but a couple Khorne gores should do great. And then if I just keep chilling with Scarbrand, I think we'll be fine. It's not like this point's getting captured anytime soon. Any amount of pervading of Slaanesh I should be able to deal with. And while the skirmishers can bully my halberds a little bit, you can see the damage simply is not extraordinarily high. It's also being mitigated by the fact that I have my skirmishers here, kind of just chilling and counter skirmishing them. And we got a solid defensive position here, where I can kind of just chill. Yeah, we kind of just sit back, relax, enjoy the double cap, spam more Khorne gores. Like I said earlier, we don't really have to worry about Forsaking too much. And then potentially we can get another big pick here with good old Scarbrand. So if he doesn't pull away fast enough, Scarbrand can potentially rampage all of these fools. He's not gonna capture the point, but he's also not getting rampaged either. Can I catch his lord though? He's very exposed. The answer is yes. Oh my gosh. And you thought Pavane on Slanesh was good? Witness! Witness what is basically Pavane on Khorne. Can I actually kill them though? So he's gonna counter rampage me. With so many halberds nearby though, it certainly is not a great position though. His lord is probably gonna escape. Sadly for me. Scarbrand gets a little bit of a smack in his back though, before everything gets too spicy. He gets a rampage, but if I just bring Scarbrand as far away as possible, he should be fine. In the meantime, Wrathmongers can clobber any amount of infantry that my opponent has. And while Scarbrand does rampage back in, he's fairly safe and protected by all of his skirmishers here. So I'm not too worried. We managed to get a pretty solid fight on our side of the battlefield. And Wrathmongers are kind of insane. We'll just yeah, keep charging those exalted demonettes with them. And then if I keep using Scarbrand effectively, I should be okay. The halberd spam is actually super annoying here too, I think. A couple Hellstriders have made into my backfield, but I don't think that's a huge problem. I think the halberd spam is actually kind of sick here. Just gonna get a spell up. Gets the Pavane off on the Scarbrand. We get the rampage. But can I kill his lord? So we're both yeah, we're both lord focus firing here. Not sure who actually comes out on top because Scarbrand, he is pretty rampaged right now. Looks like he'll probably... Ah, he got rampaged again. All right. A lot of my horsemen are kind of getting caught up too. So definitely not the prettiest situation. If Scarbrand dies here, that would be very bad. But as it stands, he's kind of just evenly trading with the enemy lord. So I think we'll be okay. And if he keeps spamming halberds, then we should be fine. Unfortunately, though, Scarbrand is getting hunted. We can, however, bog down his lord with our Marauder horsemen. So I think we'll be okay on that front. In the meantime, the Wrathmongers have absolutely crushed it. In previous times, this matchup would have been quite bad. But for Khorne, but I think with Wrathmongers, they really just win all their fights. And then if I can just get in one last halberd. That's the halberd maxing achievement completed. And I think we got him. Just have to be a little careful with Scarbrand because like one more rampage is gonna do him in. This probably would have been a lot sketchier if I didn't get that early Fury pick too. But I'll take it. So let's just pull away with these guys. Wrathmongers are having the time of their lives. Couple Seekers are no issue at all. Get them, Ratmongers. And then I'm just gonna be ultra careful with Scarbrain. Scarbrain's chilling, man. I don't wanna... Because like this game could easily be lost if I just throw him away, right? I need to like bait my opponent into wanting to kill Scarbrain, and that's how we win. I've had far too many games where I am impatient. I YOLO Scarbrain, and then we're sad. Or whatever lord I have. This will make me a better player. Just saving him, just saving him. You don't know how much it hurts me to have to leave this guy in the back, but there we go. We do get the win. We keep Scarbrand alive, and in the crazy turn of events, I don't throw my lord for the first time in many years. Not bad. Yeah, Scarbrand kind of just evenly traded into his lord. That felt pretty good. The halberds was actually they were actually insane too. Many of them got like this one almost got twice their value. That's crazy. They got chevrons. Pretty good. Furies did well. His Furies, yeah, he lost 450 gold for just having them YOLO in. Khorne, however, they were a little less exciting. I think Khorne are not as good versus Slaanesh. Weirdly enough, you can actually take armor into Slaanesh. Like armored infantry, especially armored anti-large infantry, can kind of be difficult for them to deal with. They kind of need their like big demons or like a fiend around to kill them. Obviously you're gonna get outmaneuvered, but on a very close quarters map like that, where they can't go for a capture point play, seemed like it worked out pretty well for us. Solid. Is this even end if he doesn't throw his lord? Yeah. I don't know what's in me today. Must be the tiredness. So it was versus Slaanesh. Khorne wins. All right, and then it's figuring out what in the world Skull Reapers can actually do. Okay, so we're up against Renataki. I know Skull Reapers. They have 200 mass. So in theory, they're not that bad versus cavalry. They have 10,000 HP. I still don't really know exactly what makes them so bad. I feel like it might be related to their animations. It seems like it might present their back to the enemy, and then that decreases their melee defense significantly. But I really don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. They are obviously very expensive. But like 54 melee attack, 42 melee defense, and bonus versus infantry. How are they bad? Also, an attacky is Warriors of Chaos. I'll ban Rapturous Expanse. All right, that should be good. I'll send them the lobby code and we're set. Is a 20 stack possible? Surely it is if you just spam Marauders, right? Yeah, you can get to a 20 stack. Oh wait, can you? Can you get to a 20 stack? Holy crap, you can't even 20 stack his Khorne. It's literally impossible. You can take the cheapest units on the whole roster. You can't do it. How much is the bonus versus infantry at? Let's see. This is one of the requested units. In theory, against infantry, they have a higher melee attack than Wrathmongers. It sounds like it should be insane. All right, let's do some testing. All right, so if I take a Skull Reaper and they have a chosen great weapon, these guys have 40, 20. Chosen great weapon is 38. Yeah, okay, chosen great weapon, they actually have a lot of armor, so maybe that doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's actually try out Wildwood Rangers. In theory, for the price point, this unit should clobber Wildwood Rangers. Loose formation, but like loose formation doesn't hurt Slayers, right? But yeah, they should have a... Yeah, they have a charge bonus of 40. Oh, and Frenzy. Yeah, so they should have 74. Should have 74 melee attack. Okay, against Wildwood Rangers, they do win, like... Okay, so they do beat Wildwood Rangers if they get the charge. Yeah, so why do these guys suck? Is it just armor? Okay, wait, let's test them out against, let's test them out against armor and see if they get slaughtered. I must know. Whip Slanesh. I don't feel like people would take chosen whips. No one takes chosen great weapons versus Khorne either, but I just want to get a sense of this. How have you been doing? Pretty good. A little tired today, but tomorrow I'm taking a day off, and on Saturday we're gonna pop off with DLC unit testing. As we can finally show it off. That'll be quite fun. Okay, so Skull Reapers against Chosen, they do lose. They lose, but maybe not horrifically. They lose a lot of melee attack for getting tired and not having Frenzy anymore. They have a base leadership of 80. Like, it's not terrible. The Chosen didn't get the charge though, right? This is Skull Reapers getting the charge, so I think it's safe to say they pretty badly downtrade to... They downtrade pretty hard to armor. Maybe I can farm their charge bonus. Didn't you test out these guys like 2 months ago and they ended up rotating in combat? Yeah, but I don't know if that's actually what makes them bad. But yeah, I do remember that test. Isn't this unit supposed to be anti-physical resist tech? See, you just forgot everything has magic attacks. Is that really it? Okay, what if the answer is you cycle charge with them? They do have a pretty ludicrous amount of charge bonus. Yeah, look at them. They're like always facing backwards. They're always gonna face backwards. They might as well disengage anyways. But okay, technically they can kill a unit of Chosen. Almost. They traded slightly better when cycle charging. That's not the best though. But yeah, Khorne already has magic attacks though, right? Like Khorne already has like demon magic attacks. They already have mortal magic attacks with Bloodweight Berserkers. But I guess, you know, I guess maybe CA wants to give yet another unit the magic attacks. Okay, let's see if... Is there a matchup where Skull Reapers will do better than Exalted Bloodletters? So instead of going for armor dudes, let's go for something more light armor. So let's go for the greenskin side of things. Okay, yeah. Let's try out literally no armor and just see what it looks like. They'll do slightly better versus fire resist Infernal Guard. I don't know, man. Armor makes a big difference. Is there anything? Alright, let's see. Warriors of Chaos is obviously gonna spam armor though. So maybe we don't try the Skull Reaper shenanigans, but... Alright, let's see this. So this is... yeah, this is Skull Reapers versus 0 armor Savage Orcs. They rout off the Savage Orcs faster than the Exalted. And the Savage Orc Big Guns will deal less damage. So, technically the unit is kind of like an Exalted Bloodletter. You can kind of treat it like an Exalted Bloodletter. It's not very useful, but it's not as garbage as maybe I had initially thought. You do need essentially no armor though, and like Exalted Bloodletters are far from meta, so yeah. But all right, we're up against Renataki. I'm Khorne. He's Warriors of Chaos. Let's see how we want to beat this. Heralds of Khorne's Fury, like Blood Crushers, might not be that bad. And then just go for like the hard micro, maybe. It's in case you want to run 10 Bloodletters. Ah, yeah, the best unit. But yeah, like Bloodletters, they demonically crumble, and Skull Reapers rout. I don't know which one is worse. They're both pretty bad. Like demonic crumbling is about as bad as routing, anyways. Their leadership's actually the same too. But like by the time the Skull Reaper routes, it's basically done for as a unit. But I guess you save 100 gold. The problem is that I was testing Bloodletters, an AP unit, against an unarmored unit. Yeah. So that means like an Exalted Bloodletter will just be better in way more situations. The Skull Reaper is only better against no armor if because of its 100 gold cheaper price point, which is pretty bad. That's actually yeah, that's actually quite bad. Also, I gotta be wary of Doom Knights. Lost one of my games against Charix because I was unprepared for Doom Knights. We shall not make the same mistake again. Aren't they both AP? Yeah, no. Skull Reapers are 44 base damage, 20 AP. They have the same AP as like an Empire Swordsman. It's sad. It's sad to see. You hate to see it. Alright, Creeping Swamp. So Doom Knights, Hellstriders, and then they're gonna have some infantry. Creeping Swamp is a fairly large map, though. That's pretty cool. There will likely be skirmishers that I will be incapable of catching. Yeah, is there a way I can catch skirmishers? Hey. All right, I have an idea though. Yeah, all right. I have an idea. They shall cower in fear at the strength of this build. You know what? Sure. Wait, if I'm against Warriors of Chaos and they have a bunch of skirmishers, well, the map could save my butt here. This is a, oh boy, I don't know how I feel about this build. Maybe it might be good. It might be absolute hot garbage. It kind of depends. There's definitely aspects of this that are bad. But I feel like there's like a really good chance that I kind of just awkwardly stumble into a hard counter situation. Obviously, we're gonna have to be wary of like Doom Knights and Skirmishers. I think Doom Knights and Skirmishers is basically a death sentence here. If he knows what he's doing, like I feel like we're just dead, but I don't know. Let's see it. Let's see it. This is experimental, but I think if I play well enough, we might actually be able to somehow come out on top. Van attack is good though. But essentially what we're doing is I'm bringing a mobility stack. So behold, 5 units. So this is chariot maxing and blood crushers. The idea is if he goes for Doom Knights, I can rampage him with Scarbrand, hit him with the blood crushers, and then they die. And then using the heroes here, I can clear out an infinite amount of infantry, because they also have the potion of toughness. Yeah, that's basically it. That's basically it. Like this build hinges on me being able to win the mobile fight. Now, if he has skirmishers, I can spam Furies and they'll do all right. Like nothing in reserves. Okay, he has a it's a Hell Cannon. He has Sartorial. Thank goodness. No final transmutation. That's a good sign. And a Hell Cannon I can possibly rush down. Chaos Knight Lances are not going to help them in this situation. And then basically if I can just use my Furies here to push him back, I should be fairly comfortable. We're going to dodge a little bit of a volley there. That's going to keep us nice and safe. We're just gonna head on over to this point. Now he's gonna have about like 1,000 some odd gold here to bully me off this thing, but he's summoning in Spawn, who are not especially good here. Oh, this might actually be a fairly good pick too. Some of his horsemen are actually going to be cut up here if he's not careful. Get a pretty solid charge here with our Heralds of Khorne's Fury too. There's the Rampage. All right. Pretty good double horseman catch. That's definitely gonna get us places. And he just landed with Sartorial, which in theory is a really bad play here. That is only if Sartorial actually gets caught up here. We don't know if that is even remotely possible, but I think we might be able to catch him. Scarbrand's doing his best. My poor cavalry. They're doing the darndest. They're doing the best that they can. Furies will be able to chase off the horsemen at least. Can we actually catch Sartorial though? It looks like he's... Yeah, it looks like he's just force pathing his way out of there. Here comes the spawn too. Not the prettiest situation. But we have found ourselves a little bit of a Hell Cannon pick, so that's not too bad. I'll settle for the Hell Cannon. Unfortunately, Sartorial was not killable, but not needing to deal with this thing is certainly not too bad. And the spawn I'm just gonna ignore. I don't think the spawn are that good in general in this situation. Look at Scarbrand too. He's cooking it up fairly well for himself. And maybe if I'm lucky, I can get another rampage here. Very nice. We've chased off a couple of these guys. I just have to keep these guys back. Certainly a lot of spawn though. My guy is yeah, really spamming them up. So let's not get stuck in that situation. I could foresee spawn causing me a few issues here. This will be a pretty good rampage, however. And that should lead to the death of a few more horsemen. Unfortunately for me, he gets another pretty solid Searing Doom, so we're gonna lose out on a lot of our cav, but I'm gonna kill off the horsemen. I'm still gonna have a lot of my SCs, and if I get a horseman advantage here, we might actually be able to pull something something out of the bag, because he really has a ludicrous number of spawn and not a lot of skirmisher ammo left. There's very high potential here for our skirmishers to just cook super hard. And there we go. We've routed off one of his horseman units. That's very good. Looks like he actually wants to take the fight against Scarbrand with Sartorial, and it looks like it's actually going decently for him. Gotta be a little careful here. Come on, Scarbrand, live. He's doing his best. But remember, he doesn't have a lot of skirmishers. In a late game situation, if they don't have any skirmishers and you do, life is genuinely pretty comfortable. One of my guys, though, getting murdered by spawn. He's gonna get hit by the Plague of Rust. This one, though, mulching a couple of his boys over there. That's not too bad. One of his spawn has actually overextended, too. And you know what? This actually ain't too bad. This ain't too bad. Aside from the fact that I'm probably going to lose this one chariot dude. Yeah, he's a goner, but other than that, it ain't too bad. You know, you gotta remember, he's still triple capped pretty bad. It's just a potion of toughness so that this guy lives, and then keep spamming furies, because I think we might actually be able to pull through here with the late game. Losing the chariot guy is a little rough. But Scarbrand could definitely kill a ludicrous number of spawn. Hell Cannon is mostly shut down too. He hasn't desummoned it. So he probably wants to remount that Hell Cannon. Something to just be mildly wary of. But actually really interesting. He summons in the Doom Knights. Doom Knights is a weird call because I feel like I have a pretty crazy ticket lead. And the raw ticket lead could really mess him up. That was a good bombardment though. And the Doom Knights, they have caught some of my skirms. But yeah, without the Hell Cannon resummon, I feel like he just doesn't really have a lot. And look at that charge bonus too. The little chariot guy that could actually gets a pretty decent amount of damage there. He's gonna try and capture my flank point here, but we're not gonna let him. And so far so good. Look at that, chariot guy's clearing infantry just as he was meant to do. I just have to make sure that this late game involving a million skirmishers doesn't go terribly wrong for me. Which, as it stands, it is going slightly wrong for me, because here's the problem. We're about to lose one of our chariot characters, right? And he's probably going to take the middle. With so many horsemen too, it's definitely not the best case scenario. I'm surprised at how bad the capture weight is though. In this situation, it seems like he almost just doesn't have capture weight. I don't really know exactly what's going on there. But yeah, we can actually just continuously stall that with Scarbrand. And then if he doesn't get this point soon, he's actually pretty screwed. He actually summons in another skirmisher, which is really susceptible to Fury play, by the way. I feel like him spamming skirmishers is a really big misplay here. Scarbrand's gonna get a pretty solid breath attack on the infantry too. And we're actually still holding the point. Surprisingly enough, we're actually still holding it. Yeah, I can just escort these guys off the battlefield. And then I might even want to bring in a chariot just to stall the point ever so slightly longer. Because chariots can be very good at stalling here. He will capture the point eventually, but I still have 2 more. That means given 2 minutes of time, we should be able to potentially scrap back here. I just have to be ultra careful about these here Doom Knights. Can't let them cook too hard. Chariot's gonna have to stall a while too, mind you. And he has brought in yet another horseman. So far point's actually gonna fall a lot faster than I would have hoped for. He's making a play for this last point. And I'm gonna have like what, a minute?
Woeful tidings. The enemy has captured one of your victory points.
If I play keep away with these chariots though, I should be able to get some pretty solid work done though. Scarbrand plus a couple horsemen here should be pretty good too. All right, and I think yeah, all right, we're gonna get horsemen here instead. And then we're gonna capture this point. Crap. They tear out it at the last second. That's not good. At the very least, I should be able to secure this point. As many of his units are out of position. I want to use the Gore Beast Chariot. I want to use the Gore Beast Chariot to capture weight and stall him out, basically. If he decides to take this fight, he'll probably lose a lot of horsemen too. That'll be pretty good for us. Gore Beast Chariot is on. And then we should just be able to get a big old charge in here. And just shove him off the point. Will I actually capture it though? That's another question. Definitely with the Furies, like they're doing all right. Okay, yeah, Doom Knights are gonna be a slight issue. At least I have a lot of time. At least I have a lot of time to potentially make some comeback plays. Scarbrand can get a little bit of a breath attack on these here Forsaken. Come on. Oh boy, maybe the Gore Beast Chariot was a bad idea. That's gonna be a solid breath attack though. Unfortunately, I do lose the point, but his horsemen are a little worse for wear because of it. Because of the fight. Scarbrand's going to do a pretty decent job terrorizing all these guys. Okay. Yeah, if I can just capture this point and hold it for even half a second here, we do win. So I think we might have gotten him to overcommit here. My last Hail Mary for this point. It begins now. He's gonna try and get the horseman onto the point, but we're gonna counter charge with some doggos. And there we go. All right, nice. Nice, look at that. So the point is now ours, and the dogs, they should cook pretty hard. We're just gonna get Scarbrand in here. Do some of this so that he can't actually micro his forces. And just like that, we're gonna get a pretty solid victory. Holy crap, that was a scuffle though. Oh man. Obviously a silly build, but I think we played our outs pretty well. I can't believe we won that. I had no right winning that. That was the dumbest build. That was such a bad build. That was such a bad build. Oh my god. Never in doubt. The Blood Crushers. Okay, yeah. So the Blood Crushers were bad. The Blood Crushers, they were simply bad. I literally had nothing to kill the Knights of Immolation. I literally was down trading the whole game. And the only way I won was by killing off all his capture weight and just putting point pressure on him. Like, my opponent was just a little too slow. Yeah, he was just a little too slow. Killing off my my forces. The spawn were kind of weird too. They didn't do that good. But the huge W was bringing in the skirmishers after he used all his ammunition. Because then you kind of just get a massive skirmisher advantage. I feel like what he needed to do was just not let his skirmishers get caught and then resummon them as much as possible. I think that's basically how he needed to win it. But yeah, that's that done. That's yeah, that's the Blood Crushers. I'm counting that as chariot max too. I technically didn't bring all the chariots, but I think we made good enough use out of the chariots. You know, with the double hero and the double gore beast. Technically, the gore beast didn't do that much, but like, come on, man. I got the win. I'm taking it. I just have to make Skull Reapers work now, right? Skull Reapers, and then we got a max item Khorne heroes, which will be quite interesting. I don't know who's best for it, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll figure it out. Let's see here. Yes, 2x Blood Crushers with chevrons. Man, the Blood Crushers were bad, though. They were so bad. Technically, though, they did catch his cav, but I feel like Chaos Knights would have just been ludicrous amounts better. Blood Crushers were really only there in case he spammed infantry, but no one's gonna go infantry max against Khorne. That's basically a death sentence. All right, nice. And we're up against Pope Patty, who is also a pretty strong player. So, oh, Skull Reapers is on there twice. That's funny. Okay, Pope Patty. I don't think I can just Lord throw against him. I don't think I can just Lord throw against Pope Patty, but maybe I can pull off Skull Reapers if he's playing a low armor faction. "100% win rate build. GG's, looking forward to seeing it from my perspective." Man, yo, that was a crazy scrap. Oh, he's Betonia. Okay. Betonia's a faction where Skull Reapers might actually be not hot garbage. Hear me out, right? But the amount of peasant clearing these guys can do is immense. So if I just have Skull Reapers backed by like Minotaur great weapons, then my guys will never die, right? Okay, Van's Proving Grounds. Let's play Floodplain. Let's play Floodplain. That's a pretty rough cav map. But yeah, I feel like Skull Reapers and Minotaurs, you know, you have the anti-infantry, you have the anti-large. Yeah, that has to be... It has to be good, right? 10 bloodletter strat. Let's see here. And then... Like, this will come down purely to how well I can micro my Minotaurs and my Lord. Lord-wise versus Betonia. Honestly, Scarbrand's Rampage is kind of jokes. I feel like Scarbrand's Rampage is pretty, it's pretty consistently getting me value here. Let's see here. Betonia. He's gonna have mounted yeomen, but thankfully I will have the trees to my advantage this time around. Obviously, Coronate Halberds are good. You always keep your ranged troops way back from the melee line when you gotta fight stupid Scarbrand in campaign. Yep. Yeah, the Rampage is brutal, man. Let's see here. Money spending wise, yeah. Yeah, this seems not terrible. Now, this is entirely going to depend on how good Skull Reapers are at not getting face charged by Cav. In theory, they have 200 mass. So, Bretonian Cavalry should not actually be able to dumpster them super hard. At least that's the hope. What cavalry are we gonna see? Is it gonna be Grail Knights or what? And do I want any heroes? Someone like Karnak is cool. I think you almost always want to have Karnak. Just to, you know, just in case you run into a situation where he'd be good. If I'm putting a lot of pressure on his infantry front line too, what would his response be? Like, if you're Betonia and you're getting face rushed by Skull Reapers, yeah, like you'd have to get them with your cav charges, right? It's not like your archers are gonna be able to kill off all the Skull Reapers. Do I want Bloodweight Berserkers? I don't know. I don't know, man. Is this a matchup where Skull Crushers are good? Or do they die to Grail Knights? If they can even slightly trade into Grail Knights, that's great. I feel like Minotaur Great Weapons are just better, though. I do have Khorne Gores, but they surely are quite prone to routing. So maybe Armor Spam? Grail Guardians incoming. I might have enough to handle a couple Grail Guardians. We'll see. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right, let's take a look. We're gonna give this build a shot. If I just micro really well though, surely there's nothing he can do. This is a bad matchup for Betonia too, so even if not played perfectly, it might be okay. Oh boy. All right. So yeah, this is indeed the Skull Reaper shenanigan. So here's the plan. If I get the Skull Reapers and just delete his front line, then we win. This entire strat though relies on Skull Reapers actually being good at their job. Now, you might be thinking, can't you take 5 Skull Reapers? Yes, you can. So I have 1 in reserve. And it seems like he has a lot of infantry. So I think I don't know, man. Like, the kind of like bloodletters, they shouldn't die to light cavalry charges. So if I can properly shadow his cavalry with the Minotaurs, and he doesn't kill the Skull Reapers, it's kind of like I have a front line of Exalted Bloodletters. And there's no way Bretonian infantry can actually hold against that, right? Now this army doesn't have a lot of staying power, but... Alright. Foot Squires, they have 70 armor. That is not an absurd amount. 14 units, 5... 10, 13, and then he's gonna have 1 in the woods, maybe, for symmetry. No, he has something weird in the woods that I haven't accounted for. Ah, Green Knight. All right, so Pope Patty is going for a no archer build. So Karnak's good versus the Green Knight. I think we can just fight him. Does Scarbrand dumpster the Green Knight? He does have a lot of HP. He has a lot of HP and magic attacks too. Holy crap. Okay, Pope Patty might have brought a bad build. against what we got here. That is absolutely horrific, the amount of damage that the Green Knight just took. Now, I gotta be a little wary about his infantry, I guess. But Scarbrand just dumpstered this poor man's face. He's gonna summon a Trebuchet, which means for the time being he doesn't have a lot of money. So I'm just gonna go into the backfield here.
We have a victory point.
Ugh.
Keep it from the foe.
Just gonna go into the backfield, see if we can shut it down. What a crazy build, though. Green Knight Trebuchet. Absurdity is through the roof today. But Skull Reapers should be pretty good here. And like I said, there's no cavalry unit he can bring in to save the Trebuchet. He's gonna go for the D summon, which if he gets it off, it's still pretty fine for me. And yeah, it seems like it shall be D summoned. So that is quite a bit of money down the drain. Questing Knights, however, have arrived. So the question is, do we want to take this fight? Rapont is on horse. So Karnak's gonna be a wee bit careful. Questing Knight summons mean that this should do pretty fine. And then Scarbrand can start bullying the infantry. Scarbrand's a chariot, by the way. In case you were unaware, Scarbrand is indeed a chariot and should be used as such in all situations. He's gonna knock that damsel. She's rampaged, by the way, so the damsel's just gonna die, and that's gonna shut down a solid source of magic. And I'm happy that his questing knights are just sitting back there being useless. That is kind of an expensive unit that you don't want to just yeah, you don't want to just be chilling. Then you don't kill the damsel. You want the damsel to live now, as she will now take forever to be brought back. Gonna summon another one of these guys. He actually re-summoned the Blessed Trebuchet. I can use this Fleshhound summon though to go and deal with that. And then while he does have some Grail relics, I do have the Horn of Khorne, which should do a lot of damage. And fun fact, these guys are not armored. The Skull Reapers. So in theory, they actually don't care that much about the questing knights. I was a little bit bad about my Minotaurs though, but we should be able to kill off the Green Knight. He summons in some Knights of the Realm to help out the situation, but many of his questing knights are now dying. Damsel's gonna take millennia to actually come back, which is exactly what we want. And there's a pretty solid rampage on these guys. And I'm just gonna disengage here because this is all about keeping those Minotaurs alive. We want them chilling, and I don't really want to fight in a disgusting little blob fight here. That seems slightly inefficient. Instead, we're just gonna go for the doggies. The great thing about doggies here is that they will be able to, one, chase down any unit of infantry or cavalry that may be attempting an escape. And number two, they're gonna keep his stuff busy. They're gonna keep his stuff very busy, because he's gonna need to bring in some knights. Right, he's gonna need to use some sort of cavalry to stop the dogs from running his stuff down, right? And yeah, there you go. You can see he's already summoning on in some fools to try and defend it. And this is just gonna buy us time. The name of the game is buying myself just a little bit of time so that we may win on the double cap. Another Minotaur has arrived. Raponce looking a little worse for wear, though a trebuchet shot did hit a poor little guy there. Knights of the Realm, at least, they should not be able to win this against the Minotaurs super well, I don't think. And Scarbrand definitely is gonna have his way here with Raponce, most likely. Looks like she's using a little bit of a buff, though. Skull Reapers plus Minotaurs should be able to win this, however. And if he doesn't notice Raponce getting way overextended here, she's just gonna die. And I think that's gonna happen. I think we're gonna get, once again, a sick play with Scarbrand and Khorne. We actually really want to get Raponce killed here. So I'm going to use my buffs. Khorne's net lasts absolute millennia. And I might not even have to use Scarbrand's Rampage here to kill her off, though we'll have to see for sure. Gonna Rampage her back in, as she is actually holding out surprisingly well in this particular situation. Maybe the Khorne can finish her off, I don't know. Damsel did get resummoned, by the by. And he is capturing 1 of my points. That ain't too good. Scarbrand also getting bullied. Getting bullied slightly. That's not great. I thought Raponce was dead, but she went full Chad mode, and now she's nibbling at the heels of Scarbrand. I should be able to at least capture this area, though. He did defend his artillery piece. That's going to be a little unfortunate, but if I can just kill Raponce here, I think we're okay. Scarbrand is, yeah, he's landing hits, and I should be able to get a triple cap here. Yeah, triple cap's on the way. Scarbrand's killing Raponce. I think we're fine. It is going to require some pretty sick plays, but now that she is fully enveloped, and I have Minotaurs here, I think we're good. Cavalry in the distance is long shut down, and with a couple halberds, I think we're good. Quite the scrap. He gets another capture point, and definitely has a pretty scary lead. Or not a lead, but like a lot of value. I think it might just be too much. Braced Skull Reapers versus Questing Knights. Look at that. Held the charge like a charm. I knew the mass increase would be good. Look at these guys, they're actually cooking. For whatever reason, yeah, they just don't die to cav. It's very likely just the fact that they have a ludicrous amount of mass. And while the caster does try to come back, it won't be enough. Hell yeah. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Look at them hold. Look at them hold. They don't care. They don't give a crap about Bretonnian peasants. Their stats are too high. And now Scarbrand and the Minotaur squad have arrived. Charge animation straight through those foot squires just to beat them up. And without Raponce, I think this is pretty done for. I can't believe it. The Skull Reapers, they cook. Alright, so we should be able to net her down now. Gotta kill her off. Gotta get the halberds here. Should be able to recapture this point. Minotaurs will be pretty amazing. Rampage just to stop any attempt at microing the cavalry in a way that would annoy us here, and then we should be good. Now, it is important to note this is a Khorne favored matchup. It's not like I'm doing crazy stuff here. And my opponent did bring a slightly unorthodox build. Plus, I got a really nice catch on his caster at the start. Plus a catch on Rapunzel. But yeah, I'd say I'm still happy with how I played it though. Oh, and she's shattered again. She's not coming back for another 5 minutes. Oh my gosh, the shattered caster is so rough. Look at Scarbrand. What a Chad. 3,300 value. Dude, Scarbrand is definitely an APM dump. Scarbrand is such a good APM dump. The more you babysit him, the better. Is this a secret? You just don't lose your lord and then you start winning? What is this world that I live in? Insanity. So that's Khorne versus Batonia. And Khorne wins. Very nice. Squires did not bad. Squires did pretty good. Skull Reapers though. Skull Reapers were okay. They just paid for themselves in the most optimal situation. So that's the problem with Skull Reapers. They're an okay infantry in the best of circumstances. Like, they should. They really should do better than they really should do better against Bretonian infantry. Like, yeah, they didn't die super fast because they actually have pretty decent melee defense. But like the Minotaurs, they cooked. The Minotaurs got the situation that they wanted, and they got ludicrous value. The Skull Reapers get a situation they want, and then they're just kind of hot garbage. Green Knight was crazy, by the way. Going for Green Knight into Scarbrand is so rough. Maybe he was thinking I would take Valkia, in which case he would actually do really well. But I quite like Scarbrand. And yeah, the Minotaurs did work. I really sat them that game. Feels like we're getting better at taking care of our expensive units. So naturally, the next challenge is to throw it all away with the Lord Throw. Alright, Pope Patty, I'm gonna have to kick you. I'm Khorne. And he's Kislev. I think I want to try the fully equipped Khorne hero route. You think this guy will be cool? Is Scar Bloodwrath? Is a decked out Scar Bloodwrath and like a decked out Karnak good versus Kislev? They don't have a flying lord, which means if I go Scar Bloodwrath and Karnak, potentially they could just absolutely dumpster whatever SE Kislev might go for. I'll ban Ramparts. Karnak gets insane melee attack the more units that have low leadership. But he can also silence. Make Scar work, do it. Scar Bloodwrath has a leadership debuff and he sunders armor. He also has a plus 5% base weapon damage increase. That's the most mild of mild buffs. But the sundered armor is surely good. Maybe it combos with Skull Reapers, I don't know. This is Adler though, like Adler is no slouch. He wants to play on Bloodgrove, alright. So how do I not get kited into oblivion? I think the war sleddening is definitely... The war sleddening is definitely a potential issue here. Oh, he's already ready. There's also just Kislev cavalry in general. They're really strong. Yeah, so like Marauders are just not gonna cook here. Marauders don't cook. He's gonna have a ludicrous amount of range units. His cavalry's good against Furies. Yeah, this could be this could be a little sus. This could be ever so mildly sus. You know, maybe instead I can do something crazy like this. Yeah, all right. I have an interesting build. There's a non-zero chance that a build-up strat could also work here, but none of this is comfortable. We obviously need Minotaurs to fight off his cavalry. Thankfully, Minotaurs should be pretty good in general versus Kislev cavalry. And then he's gonna have a million Kossars and like Streltsy. I think it's quite likely that he's just gonna shoot us up like no one's business. That's I definitely do not look forward to. But the build itself, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Maybe there's a sick build-up strat in here, but I don't know. If I build up, Kislev just summons all their cavalry. Is that a bad thing? If Kislev just summons all their cavalry and all their range, if they have a ton of range, I think we lose here because I'm going for the hero achievement. I don't know, we'll see. Maybe bring the Bellows. Bellows can get hard countered. On this map, he can hide from it. I've decided instead to go full melee. With the intention of maybe being able to just man-die them. So, look at this. Lots of Marauders. Okay, he only has 8 units, so that's actually a really good thing for us. Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, so it is Sled Kite. So I think we want to build up. Oh, he does have a little Grom though. And it's only 2 sleds. Okay, wait. I can fake a build up to get him to advance and then just rush down the Grom, because Grom is not very good in this situation, right? So I'm gonna capture this point. But yeah, we're just gonna rush him. He has a Hag Witch of Death with Purple Sun. All right. So there he goes, being way too aggressive. So we're just gonna go for it. Unfortunately, Lil Grom somehow hit Scar Bloodwrath. But if I can somehow catch his Hag Witch, then we should be okay. Quite a bit of my money is spent on SCs. But you also got to remember the guy is running, he's running Boris here. Gonna do our best to dodge the shots of the sleds. And then hopefully our big push here can capture a bunch of points. And then we can just hard up trade. Little Grom is going to take another pot shot at the Minos, but we barely get a dodge. Then we're going to feign a charge here on the Little Grom, when really I want to kill Boris. Whoop, dodge. Ow. Oh, the humanity. Pretty brutal. Boris, though, he's netted. The guy's netted. So we're just gonna run him down. We're gonna get the flesh hound summon. He's gonna drop the purple sun like it's hot. We're gonna be able to dodge it mostly though. Scar Bloodwrath is on his way too. Boris is taking heat, but many of my cav units are not exactly super happy with the situation. However, Scar Bloodwrath, he is in there. He should be able to get at least a little bit of work. Boris shall fall. And okay, Minotaurs versus Griffin Legion. I guess we'll see how that turns out. But the man, the myth, the legend does die. Boris is down for the count. Thanks to the prowess of Mr. Bloodwrath and Khorne. Khorne has a pretty nasty little speed boost here too. So he should be able to get a little bit of work done there. Unfortunately, I do lose a whole Minotaur to this situation, but we'll see if the Griffin Legion are actually good here. Holy damage on Scarbrand though. He gets a pretty nice attack animation dodge. But if Scarbrand goes down, I'm pretty screwed, right? Honestly, he's probably just gonna resummon Boris. Hey, we're gonna get a triple cap though. That's nice. Holy crap, though. Scarbrand's getting murdered. Scarbrand's dead. Dies to a single unit of Griffin Legion, it turns out. Scarbrand, you fool!
The enemy has slain our lord.
Oh my god, the Griffin Legion. The Griffin Legion are getting so much work done. And then I lose the capture point. Jeez Louise. Alright, I have a plan though. I have a plan! So first things first, we're gonna use the Minotaurs to get some work in. Scar Bloodwrath should be at least decent in this kind of late game grind. Holy Minotaurs are just sucking. We're gonna get a net on his caster. And then hopefully we somehow kill all his capture weight. Now I think the odds are basically impossible here. Scar Bloodwrath is gonna dumpster his Hag Witch though. Alright, yeah, okay, we're gonna kill his Hag Witch. I have no units left though. Oh my god, bro. Okay, yeah, the hero squad. I was thinking like maybe he would have a hero squad and we'd be able to kill them and get a lead. But yeah. Griffin Legion are so annoying, bro. I had nothing versus them. Also the little Grom. It bullied my my poor Minotaurs. On the plus side though, Scar's still alive. He's gonna get another ginormous buff here. Somehow, some way, the Minotaurs did rally. And maybe we can stall the points for forever. Now, given that he has 2 chariots, we're likely just dead here. Okay, yeah, no, we're 100% just dead. Okay, yeah, no, this... I think we might have over-memed. This... Technically, he got 1,300. Scar Bloodwrath, but yeah. Yeah, alright. GG, well played. Adler takes the win. And yeah, it's just... it's just rough. I think Kislev is really good at kiting Khorne, man. Looks like my luck ran out. Let me know when done. We are next. Dang. We even got the kill on Boris. But like at the end of the day, you just have no other units when you go for this. This is actually super weak for his kite. I was hoping he would like go for a melee squad. Like Boris got his face ripped off, but yeah, even just 4 skirmishers and the Grom was a bit too much. Also, Minotaurs, while they're really good versus Betonia, against the Griffin Legion, the leadership hit and the crazy damage is too much. It's like way too much. Kislev is way better at killing off stuff like Minotaurs. How are you even supposed to beat Kite? I think if I were to face Kite again, I think the most sensible build would probably just be like a slow build up with just like a ludicrous amount of infantry. Kislev's pretty good at routing off infantry, but if you have enough of them, maybe. It's either that or you just go double skull cannon and just micro a lot. They can do damage. Like, I've heard reports that skull cannons can do okay versus sleds. But yeah, it's just a little bit too much. You said yesterday Lord sniping against Kislev wasn't good, and then you tried it. Well, you know, I got the Lord snipe. I was honestly kind of hoping for an Ice Witch. But yeah, what options do you even have here? I think if you go Ultraman Tide. So we're talking ludicrous armor spam, hide in the trees, and then come out at the 500 ticket mark and just take forever to kill. At the end of the day, he didn't have that much Griffin Legion. And if they're spending their time trading out Minotaurs, I think maybe you can win it. But yeah. Really wish Bloodthirsters were better. It'd be cool to see. Usually cheaper is what does it though. I feel like if they were better at melee, people still wouldn't run them. Because you're almost always going up against Kite. Yeah, we lost the last game, but we're not out of the tournament. As long as I win my next match, we should be A-okay. Adler's the first person to get 4 wins. There are a few other contenders though. I feel like a fun build though. I feel like a fun build is to just spam Chaos Knights. Does anyone know if Chaos Knights beat anyone know if they beat Griffin Legion? Griffin Legion are insane. Definitely one of the best cavalry units in the entire game. But the great thing about these guys is they have quite a bit of charge bonus too. Stat wise, they are better than Griffin Legion on a lot of fronts. So if they just YOLO straight into Griffin Legion, maybe they just crush it. Knights suck. They're more expensive. If they lose this, it's over. It's super over. Does Glorious Charge increase charge bonus? If they're not flanking. Charge bonus duration is doubled. Whew. Okay, so they're gonna have double the charge bonus duration against my Chaos Knight Lances. Let's see if the AI is dumb here. Wow, that's a dumb AI. That's a very dumb AI. Okay, so if you are the worst AI in the history of mankind, then yes, the Chaos Knights, they will win. Okay, how do I convince the AI to... Oh, I should just take Scarbrand. I should take like an Exalted Bloodthirster. Yeah, the leadership hit will be a little rough, but I think Chaos Knights are pretty sturdy leadership-wise. Chaos Knights pretty sturdy. They got 80 leadership. Holy crap. All right, I have to take a Flying Lord. Otherwise, they just don't know how to take a charge. The AI's like, I gotta rush down that random foot character in the distance. You got Warhammer 3 booted up? Nah, it's fine. I think this will do it.
Knights of Khorne, destroy them!
Holy crap. They suck. All right, Trizic. Ah, yeah. We're sure, you know what? Let's get Trizic in here. All right. I do prefer that you DM me next time. Just so that just in case something comes up, but there's a code. Core Knights are 3-0. All right, let's try it. Let's try it. Okay, so we'll do Troll Country, and then you can just YOLO in. But yeah, I feel like Core Knights, they might be good enough just because of their high shock damage and ludicrously high armor. I think they'll be able to get it done, maybe. Then if I face Adler again, I could just do that. We'll see. All right, let's take a look. So this is Chaos Knight Lances of Khorne. They have significantly better stats. Definitely much higher melee attack. The leadership doesn't get hurt that much by the Kislev Cav. And in a long grind, the Chaos Knights win. Okay, yeah, so Chaos Knights are actually not bad. They're not bad. All right, so we have our next match. I'm Khorne. I'm gonna have to kick you, Trizic, so that we can get our opponent in. And if he's High Elves, I'll ban, well, we have Rift at World's Edge, Itza, and Edge of the Darkwood. I'll ban Darkwood. You know what? Maybe we should just spam Chaos Knight Lances. I feel like these guys have really high potential to be good. Thank you very much for the help testing, though, Drizik. May we face Kislev again and tear them apart, hopefully. Fingers crossed. But yeah, we'll see if we can beat High Elves first. We got to get 4 wins here. Let's see here. Is there any way I can get the... Okay, hero ability maxed Blood Reapers. Okay, so what do Blood Reapers have if they're maxed out on abilities? He wants to play an Itza, which is very close quarters. High Elves have a rough time dealing with armor. The Reapers would have Locus of Abjuration and Bloody Shackle. Eternal Blade to increase their stats. It's not that great though. What if I go for Cultists? Oh god, then I have to put them on a War Shrine. Alright. Hard pass on that. Exalted Heroes will be on Juggernauts though. They only cost 1600 and they'll have Deadly Onslaught and Banner of Rage. I feel like Exalted Heroes are probably the best if I'm taking ultra stacked heroes. And then high elves in general. Yeah, I just have to be a little wary about their archer spam. They could try to kite me, right? But yeah, realistically speaking, is there a lot that I have to worry about high elves? The great thing is that they don't kite armor nearly as well as Kislev. I actually don't think they have anything to really handle that. So we should be fine there. On the single entity front, they don't have that much either. To actually beat me if I'm going for the hero squad. I'm definitely gonna need to get at least a few units here, but generally speaking, high elves, they just don't really have a lot of ways to kill armor. So as long as I have a few armored units, I should be able to clear most anything. Cavalry's pretty good. I actually almost don't want minotaurs because my cavalry's actually pretty good here, right? We can basically just win this with the hard cav max. I don't know. You know what? This might actually be good. All right, I'm locking it in. Watch out for archers. This build is super good versus archers. I feel like archers... I feel like they don't stand a chance versus us. And challenge-wise, yeah, I just gotta max our Khorne heroes. And then we can try hard for semis and grand finals. Words never spoken by a Khorne main before. I don't know. I feel like the Chaos Knight Lances, if they can beat Griffin Legion, surely that has to amount for something, right? We're talking like Dragon Prince tier levels of cavalry. They have ludicrous melee attack because of their frenzy. I'm gonna live or die by the memes, alright? But I have to. I am obligated to try it out. So let's take a look. This is ludicrous, but he has 8 units. There's a high chance. A lot of people will try to counter Khorne by spamming single entities, because Khorne usually doesn't go this hard on the melee fight, because they're usually just spamming infantry. If he goes to single entities this game, he's getting clobbered. Not only will we have Scarbrand with some decked out abilities, he can rampage his fools, and I got 2 exalted heroes here with a whopping 73 base melee attack, deadly onslaught to get the charge bonus to over 100, and potions of toughness. This is the beat your face in type of composition, and high elves will often feel like they have to bring something to kill the skull cannon, and then they'll get wrecked. But instead, he's actually gone super elite on the infantry. Sword Masters of Horth, Tyrannok Chariots. All right. They have AP. They have a medium amount of AP. I'll dodge their shots, but I've never seen Tyrannok Chariots actually do anything. So just dodge with Scarbrand. Kind of a crazy build, I'm not gonna lie, but slight problem. I do have Scarbrand's breath attack at my disposal. His shots are getting some pretty decent damage though. But yeah, what if I... Oh, smart. Smart. Alright, so he's positioning for the potential breath attacks. We're gonna get another lance unit here though. Sisters of Avalorn are no joke, but a swift cav charge to the face That should do pretty well. Scarbrand's breath attack is an absolute joy to see. And Tyrannok Chariot should not be the biggest issue in the world. We're gonna rampage on top of a L'Oreal. And then he's gonna get caught up in some halberds. Rip Scarbrand. And okay, he's gonna bring in the Fireborn. Wait, don't the Fireborn have resistance to fire? Crap. Okay, so that's a slight issue then. The Fireborn are, as it turns out, fairly good versus what we have here. Now, Scarbrand can still get a lot of damage on them. And my cavalry should be able to cook up decently, but that definitely poses a mild issue. Soon enough, though, I will have Wrathmongers. And okay, yeah, Fireborn are an issue. Fireborn are a big issue. Do I have anything that can kill Fireborn? Do I have a single unit here on this entire roster that can kill Fireborn? Oh crap, the Sisters of Avalorn are back. Okay, we're gonna have to make some smart plays here. We're gonna have to like rampage them or something. Gonna have to rampage them to the deaths. There's Ragara's Pride. Now, I will be able to get a unit of Wrathmongers in. We are going to get a rallying of one of my Chaos Knight Lances. And if they can charge the Ragara's Pride, it's not too bad. He shouldn't be able to surround my little hero here either. Looks like he's actually pulling away with the Fireborn too, so that's pretty good. Come on, Chaos Knight Lances, get that charge. Yes. All right, nice. So my opponent's misplaying slightly. That's good. But yeah, I gotta be super careful about L'Oreal. She's gonna be a problem here. Sisters of Avalorn also a mild issue. Ragara's Pride is getting dumpstered at least. So that's pretty good. But my opponent is getting his second capture point. However, the Fireborn are quite exposed. And the potential to make a big play here is open, because without the infantry to actually support, I should just be able to get into the cookie jar. Wrathmonger's got to be decent against these guys too. Can I get a rampage on him? The answer is yes. Then we're going to go over here, maybe snipe a L'Oreal, maybe kill some of the infantry. And then if we can kill off the Fireborn with maybe a swift rear charge, I may have a chance yet to win this game. L'Oreal's also taking a lot of damage, and fire damage does reduce the healing that they get. So that should work out fairly well in my favor. Sisters of Avalorn having a pretty rough day, it seems. And a lot of the Fireborn did actually die. I'd say that's generally a good thing for us then. The Wrathmongers can now fight up the Sword Masters of Hoeth, where they, in theory, win the fight. And Scarbrand just has to live, which he actually will, getting a terror out on the Dragon Princes. Unfortunately, my cavalry's targeting the wrong unit there. A little awkward, a little bit of a snipe on Scarbrand too. Gotta be real careful here. Opponent will be probably capturing some points too. But at the very least, Wrathmonger should be able to cook up pretty hard. What is that? Just a Reaver unit, not a big deal. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Scarbrand's taking some damage. He'll have to run for his life. He's probably gonna crumble away now, which is pretty bad. One last smack on the cav unit though. I just gotta take him out, you know. We just gotta take him out. Scarbrand will live. Yeah, he'll be fine. All right, he's good. He's good. He's all right. And then now we just kill a L'Oreal. Not the worst. Not the worst. Scarbrand, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. 8 leadership is more than enough. I've never needed more than 1 leadership, realistically speaking. So he'll do pretty well. This guy is refusing to attack a L'Oreal though. Second one should be able to get a pretty decent charge at least. And with a Forsaken over here, we should be able to get some work done. Huzzah, we've killed off a L'Oreal. Okay, alright, so we killed a L'Oreal. I should be able to capture the point, and Scarbrand is still alive. Maybe a little bruised. Maybe just a smidge bruised, but he's alive. I'll be able to charge up some Sisters of Avalorn here. And we just have to be a little wary of the Alariel resummon. Because you can bet she's gonna be resummoned here, right? Sisters of Avalorn are mildly problematic too, but things are not too bad over here. Scarbrand should be able to beat some Tyrannok chariots. That should not be the biggest issue in the world, but Sister's kind of cooked. Sister's kind of cooked over there. And the problem, Alariel's probably really cheap.
You have the foe's victory point.
Now, high ground point is secured. He's going to have some halberds moved there in a second, though. Chariots are dead, at least. And I guess the Wrathmongers are having a good time. Alright, and that is a double cap. I think I do win on a double cap, too. Which is a very important thing to note. Let's see here. Sisters of Avalorn are going to be a menace. And yeah, she's just back. Now, I can't just kill her again. That's a great thing about... That's a great thing about this. She is rather expensive. I should just be able to beat her up. He will be able to capture the high ground point soon enough, though, which is gonna be mildly problematic. Yeah, and a Phoenix Guard there. I'm gonna be really annoying. I guess I can use Scarbrand to maybe distract, but this is not a great situation. All things considered, this is actually kind of a losing situation. Because Alariel, yeah, there she goes. She's gonna be healing up all these guys. And as a foot character, she really does not give a crap about being murdered here. Yeah, she's just chilling. She's just sitting there. Causing me issues for days. Please tell me Scarbrand can get here in time, though. Maybe we can get a stalling effect here. He hasn't gotten many points just yet. Scarbrand should be able to get onto the capture point. There we go. He's gonna get a pretty solid breath attack down the pipe on the Phoenix Guard. Nice. Alright, you know what? That's not too bad. Yeah, I just gotta make sure he doesn't, steal any points and we'll be goodies. I'm sure Scarbrand is, yeah, he doesn't mind. He's chilling, he's having a good time. Sisters of Avalorn getting shut down by a couple Forsaken, that's not too bad. The amount of scrapping it, though, is gonna have to be high. Like, we are gonna have to scrap it out pretty hard here. Good pull away, too. Keeps his Sisters of Avalorn alive. And he resummons he resummons those annoying guys. The Fireborn are back. And I don't have a Scarbrand that can fight him. Little hero squad here, though, is still doing good. I will have to manage and get through those halberds, of course. Fireborn are, of course, ultra problematic. I think my opponent's gonna win this. I think the Foot Alariel is actually the ultimate attack. Like, honestly, the mass halberds against my Cav Max is actually going to dumpster my face here. I don't see a way I can win this unless I stall for like ever. We're gonna have to stall for millennia here. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god. The hero squad is not cooking. Okay, can the cavalry win against this? We'll have to see. So much armor piercing. He has so much armor piercing, bro. Can I get a Wrathmonger resummon? Maybe. There's a non-zero chance that the Wrathmonger resummon does okay in this situation. I will have my little hero here, but yeah, those dragon princes are gonna be a bit of an issue. Now, we did get a little bit of a route here. We did get a smidge of a route. And I can use some Chaos Knights here to potentially cook. The Fireborn are gonna be so problematic, though. I'm gonna have to summon in more Knights, too. Kind of just out of necessity to capture this point. I will be able, however, to shut that down. Another heal, though, on the Phoenix Guard is gonna be rough. And yeah, he's just gonna capture the points. I don't think there's a way to win like this. Not like this. It happens, man. Live by the memes, die by the memes. But I think my opponent just had a little bit too much. I think the Phoenix Guard and Foot Alariel is actually kind of brilliant. Especially if you spam a normal infantry build. Like, I think this would legitimately beat a normal infantry build. And then against the armor, you literally can't kill the Fireborn. They're just indestructible, man. They're just indestructible. Sisters of Avalorn are actually a really nice touch, too. And look at that, a solid pull away here. I think he done got us. I think he done diddly got us. Is there any way I can get enough kills? Man, I thought the Chaos Knights were clutch, man. I thought the Chaos Knights were clutch. Oh, man. I played a little recklessly here, too, admittedly. I'm going to see if maybe there's a way we can pull back. So we're going to capture this point. Oh, boy. Do we have a crash? No, we should be good. I'm going to try resummoning the Wrathmongers and maybe capture the high ground. No, he wins on a 1-cap, though. Yeah, it's over. GG, well played. Game's crashing. Game's crashing. He won, though. He won fair and square. GG. And unfortunately, we get wrecked. We got wrecked. Now, I might still have enough opponent points to still qualify. It really depends on how many people get wins here. Dang, that's brutal, though. That's brutal. We got wrecked. The heroes were okay. Okay, so the heroes were okay. They didn't really kill Alariel that quickly, though. Sisters of Avalorn were a beast, but man, the Phoenix Guard value, holy smokes. What I should have done, I should have just kept resummoning the Wrathmongers. Like, I think if I spammed only Wrathmongers, we would have been fine. But the one Phoenix Guard kind of worked them low enough where they couldn't really clear out the rest of his infantry. Dang. Quality wins, though. He did well. All right. So the question is, will we be beat on the opponent points? I think I played that game kind of sloppy, though. Like, I could have, in theory, pulled them apart a little better. You know, the Tyrannok Chariot actually got value. That's crazy. The Dread Tyrannok chariot value. I think they were shooting Scarbrand the whole time. I think in general, horse archers would have been better though. But I do kind of like the Sword Masters and Elite Infantry versus Khorne, because it really feels like there's not a lot you can bring. If you look at their actual roster, there's not a ton. Oh, Minotaurs don't have fire damage. Crap. If I just brought a unit of Minotaurs, I probably could have killed his Fireborn. Yeah, I think that would have been better. Hero Squad was okay. Banner of Rage was kind of jokes, but like for over 3,000 gold, oh man, they really just didn't do a lot. Legless Skycutters. Skycutters without wings. That was fun though. I really gotta step up my game though if I'm memeing. Like I need to pull back a lot more value when I'm memeing. I really need to shake off the habit where I just get comfortable. Because like I saw the Tyrannok chariots and then I just got comfy. Realistically, I could have sat on 2 points for way longer and maybe got into a ticket style of game. But I was just like a little bit too relaxed. I was just a little too relaxed and then we suffered for it. Eventually. Eventually I will learn. By the way, we got a meme courtesy of Storm / Trizik. It's pretty hype. Pretty hype. Unfortunately, we still got wrecked. That's pretty good jumping though. Pretty good jumping. Alright, let's see though. Let's see. It's all gonna come down to opponent points. Currently I'm in 4th place. But I've also finished all my matches. So there's a lot of space for people to get ahead of me. I think it's gonna be Azek. It's gonna be Adlering. And then let's see here. Renataki might actually make it. If Renataki... No, Renataki has been losing a lot of matches. Oof, that's going to hurt my opponent points then. We'll see. The person that I lost to actually has fewer opponent points than me. And they're also at 3 wins, so... It's going to be close. It's going to be close. Rowdy has more opponent points than me. And 3 Swiss points. And they still have a match to play. So I think Rowdy is almost guaranteed to make it to top 4. For us though, it is unknown. But yeah, Wrathmonger spam would be a hard counter to that high elf build. But Wrathmongers would lose to your basic kite. Honestly, I feel like I have a slightly better appreciation for Khorne now. I think the Minotaur Great Weapon's hard carry. Like, I think as Khorne, you almost always want to start with 1 Minotaur Great Weapon and 2 in reserve. And then probably want a lot of lances. And then most builds would be like, you know, like maybe like a Scarbrand with this Rampage. And then just like a whack load of infantry, right? Like, I feel like, you know, something basic like this is not bad for Khorne. They don't feel super strong though, because I think most factions can kind of coin flip Khorne, where they'll either go heavy on the kite or they go for more elite infantry. And as Khorne, you can't really kill elite infantry and kite unless the Minotaur is hard carry, which that might be the case. Like, you could just use Scarbrand and the Minotaurs and just cycle charge them. And maybe that goes well. Any news regarding you teaming up with Turin on Saturday? Well, we may play some matches with Turin. He will be busy. But, yeah, he will be busy, or he might be busy. But if he's not busy, we'll play some some DLC matches against each other. I'll go for the Dreadmaw and see what it can get done. Should be pretty hype. Yeah, throwing Larry to get more star charges. Yo, Alariel, Foot Alariel is probably ludicrously cheap. If you go like Foot Alariel with just Earthblood and Star of Avalorn, she costs 900. So you kind of want her to die to spam Star of Avalorn, but there's not many situations where that's actually super useful. It's not bad for the Fireborn though. Murworm has 360 block chance. Oh dang. Wait, what's its passive block then? Are we gonna get some sick Murworm builds? Oh my gosh, are we gonna see Foot Alariel, Star of Avalorn, Murworm builds? I feel like Murworm is scary for how much healing the High Elves have. I could see some issues there. Any situation where you'd consider Scarbrand stacking item? Not really. So Slaughter and Carnage will make Scarbrand like 7% more expensive. It takes forever to stack, and he already hits like a truck. The problem with Scarbrand is actually landing attacks more than dealing damage with those attacks. Maybe you can get like a breath attack early on against undead. But a lot of his damage comes from his like impact hits too, more than his actual attacks. But if you have some reason to just deal ludicrous damage to undead, you could use Bellow of Endless Fury to get a bunch of kills and then maybe get 50% more damage on him, which would not be terrible, but I think that would be the only situation. Most of the time Scarbrand only gets like 100 kills in a game at best. So by the end of the game, it's going to be like a 30% damage boost. And for 200 gold, you're probably better off just having more units. Mazda and Dreadsorian plus Alariel and Murworm, who wins? Oof. I think the Shredder of Lustria wins, though. Shredder of Lustria is insanely stacked, and I don't see the Murworm. I don't see the Murworm costing more than 4,000 gold, right? Mazda Mundi's also an insane support character. Sunburst of Hexawaddle, which is not useful in this particular situation outside of the melee defense. But Shield of the Old Ones is great. And they're both gonna heal cap. I think that's basically guaranteed. Sorry, just some messaging. He also has a 100% range bonus, reload skill, stalk and snipe on range units. Wait, what's this? Who has a 100% range bonus? Is that the new Lord? Yeah, that'd be crazy. Are you talking about like Aceling? If that's in multiplayer, you could totally just have like 400-meter range Sisters of Avalon. Yo, that'd be crazy. Couldn't you just like use that to just like murder the opponent with Sisters of Avalon? It's in multiplayer, showcased by CA. Oh dang, alright. Wait, couldn't you just like archer spam then? Couldn't you just archer spam and just get like a massive value lead early on? Does it have a unit cap on the number of characters that it can hit? That's pretty crazy. Okay, we're still waiting on people to finish up rounds, it seems. So far, I am still in 4th place. I'm still in 4th place, but I feel like I'm gonna get dethroned very soon. All it takes is Navigator to win a game, and then we're screwed. Navigators versus Joni. Okay. I'm counting on him to beat Navigator. The odds are low. But we'll cross our fingers for it. Acelin plus Hand of Glory. You might get maxed out though by your reload time reduction cap. Alright, nice. So we will have a game to spectate. Huzzah! Glorious! And then the 5th round should play out and we get to spectate some games. Should be fun. Alright. And the armor blocker's up. Now remember, tomorrow I am going to take a day off. Gonna do some more editing, get more videos out. And then we should be good to go. Whoops. I joined his lobby as not the spectator. All right. But yeah, I don't think we're making it. I don't think we're making it to top 4. I think enough people are going to get there. Unless, okay, wait. If Renataki wins. Okay, in theory, if Renataki starts winning super hard. Renataki lost to Joni. Oh my gosh. All right. All right. Joni has to win against Navigator then. That's the only way we can have even a smidge of making it. Who else did I face? I faced Adler. So Adler could also win. Pope Patty's a pretty good player. Pizu's a pretty good player. In theory, I have a lot of people that can get me a lot of opponent points. Oh crap, no, if Joni wins, if Joni wins, then he also surpasses me. Crap. Wait a second. Navigator only has 2 wins. Okay, no, I need Navigator to win. Okay, if Navigator wins this game, Navigator and Joni will not have a lot of opponent points. And then I might be able to surpass them. Then, if Renataki and Pope Patty and all the people I faced win in the last round, then we will actually be in a decent situation. We might be able to barely skirt by just by opponent points. best part of the Swiss format is this. Usually, this new format shouldn't run into this issue as often. We'll see. The idea is you have 5 rounds, and if you win 4 of your games, you're guaranteed to make it. But if you're in the 3-win category, it's going to be based on opponent points. But if, you know, if 5 people get 4 Swiss points, then it's just a simple tiebreaker. Normal tournament setup is too easy to know what's going on. You miss out on the half hour of, well, we can win if... Yeah, that's usually why I do tiebreakers. But I think we might have like too many people for too many people for 3 wins to be a good deciding factor, and too few people for 4 wins to be a deciding factor. We might have hit that perfect sweet spot. I'd love to make it though. I don't deserve it. With the, well, I don't know. We did pull off some pretty crazy Khorne shenanigans, but we'll see. There's a chance Slim Cognito makes it. Great name. Slim Cognito is facing Rangito. There's a decent chance that they get the 4 wins here. Murworm has 840 AP damage, plus also an anti-large monster. Oh, dang. So it might actually beat the Dreadsaurian. It has regen. Okay, so what? Is the Murworm going to be ludicrously expensive then? Is it really going to be better than the Shredder of Lustria, though? Does it have the stats? Because I think Shredder of Lustria actually has pretty good melee stats. And in a prolonged fight, that means everything. I don't think they'll have time to cycle charge each other, right? It has an ROR called Silac One Eye. Can be compared to a Shredder. So maybe the Murworm's just an anti-large Shredder. You know, people talk about power creep. I think we're getting scale creep. If the Murworm is stronger than the Shredder, I feel like we're just constantly getting larger and larger units added to the game. At some point it gets ludicrous, right? What, are they going to add Kolek's dad at some point? And he's just going to be the size of the map? I don't know. But alright, let's spectate this game first. Skink Tide versus the Zombos. We've been seeing a lot of double gunnery white play from Navigator. This is actually the same, almost the same build he bought versus me earlier. But he has to be careful with the gunnery whites. If they die, life would be very sad for him. Worm is stronger than the dragons. Dude, everything's stronger than the dragons nowadays. Name a big unit that isn't stronger than the dragons. I bet the Thunder Barge is stronger than the dragons. The Dragon Ogre Shaggots are stronger than the dragons. You have the Dreadsaurians. You have the Murworms. You have the Cathay dragons. I bet they're stronger than the High Elf dragons. Dude, dragons suck, man. Clearly, dragons are the inferior race on the world of Warhammer. Yeah, I bet the Kadai Fireborn. I bet that eats dragons for breakfast. Dragons mean nothing now, man. They're like the red shirt that gets beat up so that other things look better. I think they said it was the strongest monster in the game, the Murworm. Does it have aquatics? If Murworm has aquatics, it's OP, I'm calling it. Normal Murworm has 700 AP and anti-large, okay. So it will probably beat... Oh yeah, 59 melee attack. Okay. So it probably beats a Dread Saurian. I'm gonna guess it has a really high HP pool. Is it really gonna cost, like, if it's stronger than the Shredder of Lustria, then the ROR Merworm would have to cost over 4,000 gold, making it the most expensive unit in the entire game. Also, dang, slightly different build. That's why I had so few units. It's a Necrofex. Necrofex Noctilus, alright. He can bully salamanders, if you can see them. He can bully cavalry. But the map is not the best suited for a Necrofex Colossus. Yeah, we'll see how this one pans out. Look at that there, Noctilus. He's chilling. He's got a big cannon. Necrofex Colossus. It's an armor-piercing, high weapon strength ability. He's about to heal and Malakoth, so this is basically saying he hates cavalry. Double gunnery white for the infantry. Scab Scrath is the ultimate, no more infantry option. But casting it on Skinks is not going to get a lot of damage. And the first cannonball shot, I believe... No, it goes wide. Okay, no, he's just retargeting a lot. Shoots at some infantry to start off with. Skin cohort javelins lose 9 entities. Nothing too crazy. What is going to be pretty painful, though, are the double gunnery whites. So, they have 390 armor-piercing damage. And already they're poking away at the salamander. Missile resist helps. It will slowly be taken out here by the gunnery whites, as there's no healing on the side of the lizardman.
Keep it from the foe.
No healing's gonna be pretty sus, but Burning Head, quite nice. Will it veer left? No, misses the zombies, and that's only gonna get 250 gold value. That's actually pretty low as far as Burning Head is concerned. You can usually get about 400 gold with the spell. At least 300. But by targeting the deckhands and not the pole arms, the lizardmen do lose a little bit of value. Interesting flank here too. The flank that was supposed to catch artillery that was never summoned. Instead, getting charged by doggos. Gonna be a little sus over there. Especially if the bombers show up. And Melkoth's on the salamanders. Also not getting a lot of work done. Gunnery whites are getting caught up. And honestly, I'd say this is slightly bad for Navigator. Dogs are also going to lose in a long grind against Chameleon Stalkers. They have pretty good stats. And if the salamanders just keep sitting here, just taking them to Pound Town, it's not going to be pretty. They don't have armor piercing damage, so they don't delete crabs, but the anti-large is going to be pretty nasty. One gunnery white getting pretty low. Necrofex shot though, killing off a lot of salamanders. Not the end of the world. Zombie Tide does manage to secure a point, and they are slowly getting a bit ahead on value now. Moringal summon, very nice versus Stalkers. So this now has become an up trade for Navigator. Now the Lizardmen are in a little bit of a sketchy position. They've summoned in skirmishers to play a long con. But with the salamanders routing off, their overall DPS is now looking pretty bad. Handgunners are going to probably rout off the skink skirmishers. They're not chameleon stalkers, so they don't have the massive missile resist that comes with that. And another burning head actually kind of whiffs. We're looking at very little value on this Lawn Mage piece so far for the amount of burning heads that are cast. The gunnery whites have finally finished off the ancient salamander too. And this could be a pretty strong swing play. Have we seen any scab scraps yet? Okay, it has been used. Only one though. I feel like one scab scrap here could be really nice. He selected the gunnery whites. Let's see if we can catch it. Maybe he feels like it's not needed. I guess maybe not. So no Scab Scrat. Instead, just making use of his bombers. Salt Lord Scuttlers, though. Getting bullied. The Lizardmen are going to have to kill a lot of zombies. And a lot of Moringulls. Their solution? Horned ones. Pretty interesting solution. As Vampire Coast is generally quite good against us. But if you look at the general situation, maybe there's not a lot that can actually deal with these guys. Massive Burning Head takes out an entire handgun mob. Very nice Burning Head, by the way. That's what you want to see. Nets him 500 gold worth of value. Even clips a few of these guys. And if the Horde ones, you know, in theory, they technically counter everything that's on the battlefield right now. They can jump the ranged. They can kill crabs. Even Moringulls. But a little bit of indecisiveness. Not able to really get a lot of damage on Noctilus. They are now getting Melkoths. Cannonball shot, wrecking them pretty hard too. And what was once a 1,500 gold unit is now brought low very hard. They actually, yeah. I think this might be a paper hammer type situation. Where I think the unit just sucks. Did they do anything? Okay, they got 500 value. Oh my god, that's terrible. So Horned ones not doing very well. They do have decent leadership though, and they will be sticking around. But Noctilus is on their tail. And a couple handgunners will definitely bully them pretty bad. Noctilus just picking this guy in particular to beat up. And now we're looking at a double cap situation. Value technically in the way of the Vampire Coast, but a lot of their money is stuck in Noctilus and the Gunnery Whites. Burning Head is clearing the way too, hitting up some expensive pole arms for a potential recapture. And Lizardmen have the ticket game. If there's one thing that Lizardmen do well, it's playing for tickets. Look at that. Capturing point number 3 with great gusto. Joni still has a lot of skirmishers alive, and there's not a lot that can really bully them. Maybe some guns. I think the guns are probably the only way Vampire Coast can come back. The overall value they can get is very high. Those Feral Cold ones did not have a fun day charging into, yeah, just even a basic handgun unit. Gunnery Whites, too, are going to be a little problematic. So Joni says, you know what? Screw it. If you can't kill them, capture the points. Because Vampire Coast is not a very fast trading faction. And in this particular situation, they also don't have a lot of capture weight. So double cap is looking very secured. There's more zombies, but I would suspect at least one more Burning Head from this Lawn Mage Priest. But a very nice shot from Noctilus does get a few routes in for these Skink Skirmishers. I think this is pretty close. Also, yeah, Horned ones are kind of bad. Yeah, they're gone, man. Dude, the Horned ones, I think Lizardmen, if they didn't summon Horned ones, they could have summoned like 5 Skink Cohort instead. That would have been so much better. But yeah, we'll see how this situation plays out. With double Scab Scrat, yeah, he still has 3 more uses of Scab Scrat. He could potentially delete these Skinks like no one's business. A little summon here to save the Gunnery Whites. Cohort of Sotek are really scary against these guys, as they do have the armor piercing to cook. And the zombies have arrived onto the point. Do the Lizardmen have capture weight here? It looks like slightly no. It's not going to be a rapid capture though, so the Lord will be able to stall it out. And there you go, there's that Burning Head. Right down the pipe on top of all those zombies. Huge value. Oh my goodness, look at that Lawn Mage Priest. Capturing some early points and using that to his advantage to set up for some nasty Burning Heads. Now technically it didn't kill a lot of entities, so they still have capture weight, but these guys are going to be disintegrating super fast. Meanwhile, in the middle though, Vampire Coast has come out ahead. Has he used the Scab Scrats yet? Not yet. Keeping them in the pocket. I feel like a Scab Scrat on these Cohort of Sotek would help out a lot. And funnily enough, this point is actually still being captured. Despite a very nice Burning Head, it's looking close. The Lord's not on the point. And this could be a huge misplay from the Lizardmen. Leaves the Lord off the point. He gives it some side eye, but he's better than this. All right, this Slann Mage Priest, he was born. First generation Slann Mage Priest. Born in a different time. Leaves the issues to the future generation of skinks. Absolutely brutal. And in such a close situation where you really want to try and win on points, this is bad. Vampire Coast technically too, they do win on a double cap. It will take a very long time to win on a double cap, but they do win on a double cap. So Lizardmen really have a lot of incentive to try and get things done quickly. Salt Lord Scuttlers are still getting a lot of value too. 100 kills, 900 value. They were resummoned though. And this is gonna be a little rough. Lizardmen, they are recapturing the point. So time pressure is once again in the field of the Vampire Coast. But I'm a little worried about the trading. I think I think he maybe cast a Scab Scroth on those javelins. Might be able to rout them off. Slann Mage Priest. Once again. As you can see here, the youth have thrown him into the fire. They've thrown him into the pit. The time for the older generation has passed. Slann Mage Priest getting shot up by the handgunners. A little bit of a misplay, getting caught up. If he dies, that would be terrible for the Lizardmen. Once again, Cold Wind Spear Riders on the crabs. These crabs are just so tanky, man. They just refuse to die. The Slann Mage Priest does live. He escapes to live another day. But the young uns have abandoned him. He has no defenses, and even a unit of dogs can kill this guy. His armor's not very high. Cavalry's gone too. Gunnery White. Gunnery White is chilling. Noctilus, by the way. He actually has the hunger. Oh my gosh. Navigator took a stack to Noctilus. Look at that. So he's actually able to fight on the point, and that's going to keep him around for quite some time. But a slight issue for the Vampire Coast. Technically, the Lizardmen, I believe they do win on one capture point. In the time it takes them to get 300 tickets, the Vampire Coast will only get 600. That's not enough. Vampire Coast are gonna have to recapture this point, and they have 5 minutes to do so. Might not seem like a lot of time, but if you look at this timer, it's only been 11 minutes and 30 seconds. That means that that's like almost 50% of the battle to capture this point. Vampire Coast has a lot of time, but the Lizardmen have plays. Look at that. Joni's saving up money. He knows that the Vampire Coast are going to be trying to go for this. So he's probably going to bank up a bunch of skinks to steal points here. But does he know that Moringulls are over here? Moringulls route off skinks like no one's business. And they'd be happy if a bunch got spammed over here. Gunnery White. Scuttling away. Middle point looking fairly safe. So instead he says, all right, you're gonna leave a lot of units here. I'm gonna summon for point number 3 instead. Brings in the skinks, but is it too little too late? We're seeing a triple dog summon over here. Routing off a bunch of, it's a skink cohort. A chameleon stalker. It's pretty sus. It's pretty sus. Dogs are pulling away. They're gonna be chilling. And the zombies are getting on top of the point. Looking pretty rough. Also, I should make an announcement. Five-round tournament. Also, yeah, he's gonna capture that super fast with the zombies. He does get it though, with quite a bit of time to spare. Also, I already made my announcement. We're good. Doggos. Massacre the skink cohort. Doggos over here killing off some Cold Wind Spear Riders. And now Joni's in a little bit of an awkward situation. He does use some cavalry though to capture some, to kill off some Warngles. And he is making some plays for some other points. But ticket-wise, he's pretty far behind. He's gonna have to capture and hold for quite some time. And in that time, Vampire Coast is gonna continue to trade up. I think that zombie capture is gonna do it. I think the dog spam over here is just gonna be a bit too much, but you never know. Skink skirmishers have arrived, point number 3. I'm seeing some people already calling GG, but I think there's a non-zero chance Lizardmen can still pull out a win. Oh no, but look, Vampire Coast actually have the tickets. So Lizardmen actually need to double cap now to win, and that means it's basically impossible. Because these dogs are just way too mobile. Good game though. It was pretty fun seeing all the shenanigans. Capture point shenanigans. Had Lizardmen been able to hold on even a little bit longer, I think they could have done it. But the cavalry just kind of sucked. I think Navigator was right to bring a lot of anti-cav. Noctilix actually has 3.5k value. Which is massive, and yeah. The doggo spam's a little bit too much. Yeah, we wanted Navigator to win. We wanted Navigator to win. So let's refresh. We might not make it either way, though. I think our odds are quite low. Doggies out. Massacre and the poor skinks. And that's going to be a tap out. GG. Poor horned ones. Yeah, let's check their value. They're really expensive. Are they 1,500 or 1,300? I think the ROR is 1,300, right? ROR spear one rider, but cold ones are 1,500. And they did not cook. Nor did the cold one spear riders. They also did not cook. I feel like if he just had more infantry, it would have been much better. Got a timestamp for Merworm stats. I'm gonna show it off on Saturday anyways. I'll be fine. SFO and Old World mod at the same time. Is it overkill? You'll have to ask other people in chat. Maybe YouTube chat can tell you below. But yeah, I think the bombers did really well. At least decently. They helped rout off a lot of skinks. Late game dog summon was really good. But first and foremost, I think these unkillable crabs were the biggest problem. That and Noctilus. Noctilus was chilling basically the whole game. Best unit on the Lizardman roster, I give it to this guy. And I'm actually quite surprised how bad Salamanders are at killing armor, but there you go. And yeah, we're not making it. So Azek has 5 wins. Bird has 4 wins. Adler has 4 wins. And Rowdy might be able to make it just by opponent points. We're waiting on, yeah, one more match. Spartacus Dog and Adlering. Spartacus Dog looks like he's not gonna be able to make it. Which means, we can probably just start. I guess it really matters if Adlering wins or not, though. So I'll just give him a message. Give him a message and we're good to go. Okay, his opponent hasn't responded. All right. Wait, what's going on? Apparently something happened. Let's see here. I think someone... Yeah, someone didn't message, so... Yeah, I just have to admin, but... I don't think it changes the tournament results at all. Alright, and there's gonna be a tie. There's gonna be a tie between, Navigator and Rowdy. I'm just gonna advance top 4. Yeah, I'm just gonna advance top 4. Tournament's been going on for a while. It's a low stakes tournament, so yeah, we're just gonna do it this way. I'll need to figure out a way to get proper tiebreakers going though. At some point, I'll need to do tiebreakers, but yeah. Let's just do it this way. I need to get a format that doesn't have like too many tiebreakers. The number of signups is getting too high, man. I need fewer people to sign up for my tournaments. Alright. Top 4 is up. Okay, let's Total Tavern decide. As there were fewer than 4 people with 4 wins. Alright. That should be fine. Alright. And then we'll put up the tiebreakers, and then I should be fine. Alright. Sorry, just more adminning. Man, I'm kind of exhausted today. I really need that break tomorrow, so that I'll be ready for Saturday. Let's see what's going on. I'm getting a million messages. At the very least, the games can start. Let's spectate Navigator. Navigator's fun to watch. Spec slot, please. We'll go here. We have the top 8. I just have to manage something, but soon enough I should have the spectator slots for Navigator's game, then we'll be good. Just do a 20 round tourney. It just keeps spamming rounds until we get there. Ooh. Tiebreaker format, Skaven mirror match. I think one thing I could do is I can just do a tiebreaker for the people who... I can do a 4-round tourney, then tiebreaker for the people who have 3 games. And then a follow-up tiebreaker after that before top 4. It's a little convoluted, but it's probably good enough. Alrighty. Semifinals time. It's gonna be Vampire Coast versus we'll see. Bird. Another lizard man? How exciting. How very exciting. Alright. Winner will probably face Adler, considering Adler got the 5 wins. Yeah, round robin doesn't work because there's too many signups. A round robin would be less efficient than a 20 round tourney. Most of the time anyways. Just do a 6 rounder like turn. No tiebreakers, surely. Let's see. If I did a 6th round, the problem is I don't like... So like even turns tournaments, they're determined by your opponent points most of the time. So like the way turns tournament works is you need to have almost like a 100% win rate to guarantee that you make it. Once you go up to 6 rounds, it gets a little bit better. But like, yeah, I don't know. It's a little jank. It's a wee bit jank. But like, if you look at the tournament today, how many people had more than 3 wins, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. If I can get 8 people, then it's fine. I think we'll be... I'll have a system in the future. We'll be goodies. We'll be goodies. I think we'll just do a 4 rounder. And then tiebreakers. Like really generous tiebreakers. So it would basically become like a top 16 format. And then, yeah. Then you go from there. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Like, it'll be a top 16, but a lot of people will have some pretty generous buy rounds. Which I think is fine. 60 rounds. 1 million rounds. Best of 99. Didn't Falcon do that one time? Anyways, I'll just let these guys set up the build. I'll be back in a second. Or you know what? 5 rounds and then just generating the top 4 is probably not the worst, right? Like the fact that Navigator, like, you know, I think it's fine if there's 5 rounds. If you only win 3 games in 5 rounds, I think it's fine that the RNG gods will determine whether or not you make it. You know, I think it's fine doing it like this. You know what? Screw it. Yeah, I'm just gonna do a 5 round tournaments. And then, yeah, if you have 4 wins, you're guaranteed to make it. If you have less, then it's just based off Swiss points. I think that's fine. Like, you know, most of the time, it should be okay. Also, once again, we are seeing the same Vampire Coast build, this time on a very flat map, though. Generally good for Noctilus. But the capture points, I believe the capture points are slightly further than on a map like Itza. I feel like the Itza capture points, well... no, they might be the same distance. But the reinforcement points is definitely much further, right? Like if this was Itza, you'd be able to spawn in units like this. This is going to take you, you know, maybe like 10 more seconds for your infantry to get here. a little awkward for sure. Age of Empires 2 had a best of 21. What? But all right, let's see. How will they do? Got some Feral Cold ones. Humbled Tide. This time he has Cascading Fire Cloak. Cascading Fire Cloak's a really weird one. Why does he have this spell? Maybe it's to trigger the Kindle Flame. I could kind of see that. So, Kindle Flame gives you 20% more damage for about 1 volley's worth for the salamanders. If you time it perfectly, 2 volleys, but practically 1 volley. So, if a volley gets like 400 gold worth of value, then you could say that Cascading Fire Cloak, it will get you 100 gold, which is pretty worth for a 4 Winds of Magic spell. I don't think it's great though. I think that's pretty bad. I think, yeah, how long does this last? Yeah, oh no, it lasts 15 seconds, okay. So maybe if he times it really well, but we'll have to see. In the meantime, the Gunnery Wights are saying, we counter your complexity with the power of gun. Salon Mage Priest is gonna have to back it up. Interesting pick, by the way, Ripperdactyls to shut down the flying game, but that's pretty bad against handgunners. They get warded off. Feral Cold ones get rampaged into halberds. And overall, I'd say this is a bad situation for Lizardmen. Not only is their Lord taking a lot of damage, but the Umbral Tide is still AFK. No magic damage has been cast yet. Scab Scrats are down too. And there's a huge bomber hit. Now, nice Shield of the Old Ones is going to keep these guys in fight. Ripperdactyls are doing not bad. They're shutting down some of the ranged. But I don't know if the Lizardmen will be able to get enough coverage. And man, oh my gosh, Umbral Tide are still AFK. Gotta remember too, this army's 100 gold smaller because of Cascading Fire Cloak. I don't think he's cast it yet either. But the first solid punch back from the Lizardmen does come in. Umbral Tide are gonna get a pretty solid volley on the Salt Lord Scuttlers. Noctilus is stuck overcasting Melkoths on him, but Melkoths is pretty brutal. And so far, no great Cascading Fire Cloak. Solid shot again. Man, oh my gosh. Navigator with the Noctilus tech to kill off the Umbral Tide. Seems like all it really takes is, you know, 1 solid Noctilus shot and a Melkoths, and the unit's looking a lot more worse for wear. Once again, he does have the hunger on Noctilus, so he will be able to just sit in the fight for a long time. All hands on deck too, look at that. All the guns are focusing the Umbral Tide. But they get pretty mulched. And the Vampire Coast do rout off a very high priority target. All the meanwhile, Salon Mage Priest is looking pretty beat up. I'd say this is pretty good for Vampire Coast. Lizardmen will have to tussle a good while longer before tickets actually come into play. And they're just constantly fighting in the Vampire Coast backline. And you gotta know that there's Mourngulls and dogs at the ready. Navigator saving up for something. But I think as soon as Mourngulls and dogs show up, it's pretty over. Gunnery Wights are cooking pretty hard. They can definitely hunt down the Salon Mage Priest. Bombers are having a dandy time. Ripperdactyls are getting shredded by the guns. And what do the Lizardmen have to say for themselves? A single Feral Cold one arrives. They're going to be moving on in. Maybe they can fight some dogs. Let's look at the stat difference. Melee attack's fairly similar. Leadership is looking good so far. 72 leadership. So they do push back some dogs. Capture point number 1, though, is taken in the middle. That's a very good sign for Vampire Coast. And the Gunnery Wights, they cook. Remember, they do still have Scab Scrats too. 2 more Scab Scrats per Gunnery White can definitely get a lot of damage in. And now it's just clean up, right? I think that's basically it. Yeah, Noctilus has the Hunger, but yeah, it only activates in melee, which, by the way, I don't know how that works when you're on a giant boat. Somehow he is sucking the blood of these skinks and converting it into boat juice. Maybe whatever magic is holding this Necrofex Colossus together is empowered by Noctilus sucking blood from like a couple 100 meters up. I don't know. Don't ask about it. Don't think about it too hard. But yeah, now that he's not on fire, he should be healing at full HP. Getting some solid flank shots in here too. Hits a couple feral cold ones. And the Lizardmen are looking pretty army wiped at this point. Lord is dead. And just a solid game for Navigator. Kane could do it. Yo, are they gonna add Kane to the game? I feel like the only unit they could add that's bigger than a Murwurm that isn't Kolek's dad are like the actual dragons of Cathay. Like the big OG Papa and Mama dragons. I feel like yeah, but realistically speaking, this game's probably going to be unsupported by the time we get, or before we get a bigger unit, right? Or what if Nagash, though? What if Nagash is like huge? There's no way Nagash is just going to be the size of like a Tomb King, right? I think that would be the most boring thing ever. Avatar of Cain. All right. Final DLC material, right? They're gonna have Nagash. His model's gonna be bigger than the Murwurm, and then we're gonna have yeah, like some avatars, maybe Avatar of Gork instead of just Foot of Gork, and then like when he walks around, it's just casting Foot of Gorks everywhere. Now that would be sick. That's where the money's at. That could be pretty cool. Nagash is 50% hat. Isn't his tabletop model like huge though? Nagash has a very large hat. Wait, really? Wait, let me look this up. Nagash Mini. Holy crap, he is 50% hat. Ah, hell yeah. Yo, okay, can they just... Yo, alright, no, they gotta use this one. Save image as... Yeah, if we're gonna get Nagash, they have to give this incarnation. Let me, Ah, hell yeah. If Nagash doesn't look like this in game, I don't know what CA is doing, okay? This is premium Nagash territory. I want him to be a crappy foot character. That's just a dagger and a staff, right? And he just walks around just stabbing people, you know? I think that would be the best case scenario. Like, come on, look at him. Look at him. He has skulls on his staff. Oh my god. The hat just looks like something he stole from the Chaos Dwarves. Hey, the guy's probably older than the Chaos Dwarves, okay? Or is he? How old are the Chaos Dwarves canonically? No, they're pretty... Chaos Dwarves are a young faction, right? They were born because of abandonment issues. Just raw dog the mini into the game? Hell yeah. Oh my god, please. Please, CA. At least do it. Make it like an option where you can toggle the skin for Nagash. If you own all 3 games, you get this Nagash mini. Man, that would be hype. I would dig it. Haven't you seen the Nagash mod? He kind of gets that hat in the beginning. Is he a large entity or is he a foot character? I feel like Nagash as a foot character would be the silliest thing ever. There's no way they release Nagash as just a random foot character, right? When his mini looks insane, like his actual mini. Foot character Nagash would be really weird, man. But who knows, man? Who knows? Sorry, just messaging. Alright, we're good. We continued to wait. You don't think they're official dates? You don't think there's official dates for when Chaos Dwarves came to be? Well, let's see. It has to have been like after the prime time of the dwarves when they had their kingdoms and empire everywhere. Somewhere between that and the fall of their empire. Like, it just makes sense at the fall of the empire, of the dwarven empires when Chaos Dwarves were made. I really doubt the Chaos Dwarves came to be during the golden age of Dowie, right? Surely we can estimate. I think it was during the cataclysm before the vortex went up. Quickly, someone get Sotek. We got some memes. We got more memes. Holy crap, this image is huge. This image is huge. Let's take a look at this. Yo, honestly, old Nagash is kind of hype. I kind of like the dagger. Massive swooping pauldrons. Yeah, he has the pauldrons. Also, his face is huge, yeah. Proud, powerful cheekbones and confident grin. Hell yeah. Alright. More messaging. Sorry, just 1 second. All right. All right. Alright, we're still waiting. We're still waiting. Let's close this. I'm pretty sure Adler's gonna win it though, right? Adler's pretty strong. Yo, I heard that the water elementals got their stats out. Let me actually see if I can go on Reddit and find it, or if someone else has the stats for the sea elementals. But I have thoughts. I have thoughts on the sea elementals. Where's it at? Someone, yeah, someone surely has the stats on these guys. I don't want to say it now, just in case I like break some sort of weird NDA. Yo, where are they at? Come on, surely someone on Reddit's done it. Does Lore Master of Sotek have a video covering them? Let's see here. Lore Master of Sotek. In before 100% fire resist. That would be, honestly, I would dig it. You know what? Screw the Chaos Dwarves. Give them 100% fire resist. Let's see here. Does he have no, this is just covering the blog. Was it on the stream maybe? Could be pretty nuts. Let's see here. Creative, assembly, total war. Alright, Sea Lord acing Tides of Torment. Come on. Where are the stats at? Oh yeah, okay, I found it. I found it. So it's Bleak Swords, Oceanids. Alright. So I want you guys to tell me. I want you guys to tell me, okay? Do you think Oceanids will be good? Or terrible? Okay, so if I bring up their stats here. 0 armor. 0 armor is a very bad sign. 58 melee defense. 26 melee attack. Isn't that just Treekin without armor? Unless the unit has like 80 physical resist. What, they have 10,000 HP? So at least the HP pool isn't terrible. But this is literally just Treekin. Oh, they do have some missile resist and fire resist, I guess, and immune to contact effects. But like literally, the unit gets killed by archers. It's Treekin that die to archers. I don't know how I feel about this. Yeah, just worse Treekin. Apparently they have really high armor. This is Chevron, by the way. That should be even worse. And they have no AP damage. Physical resist and missile resist and fire resist can make up a lot. Okay, yeah, if you're getting shot at by hobgoblin archers, it really depends on how high the missile resist is. If they have like 30% missile resist. Here's the thing though, right? Let's say they resist 50% of arrow fire. Let's say 20% physical, 30% missile. That still dies archers. Like, archers will do less damage to a unit with 100 armor than something with 50% resist. Archers roughly will see like 60% of their damage resisted. So unless we're talking 60% damage resist, it's not that great. Not to mention the unit doesn't seem to do damage. Right? 50% arrow 50% of arrow fire is like 100 armor. No, armor resists 75% of non-AP damage. So like I think 100 armor would probably, I think it would be similar to like crossbow fire. But like shooting a 100 armor unit with crossbows doesn't feel bad, right? Especially if they don't have shields. Like, a lot of people will happily shoot Chosen with crossbows. Because they take damage, right? So the problem is that Oceanids, they will just take a lot of damage. Like, if you think about it, Tree can have physical resist and armor. And they still die. No one's ever been like, crap, I can't run my Bretonian bowmen because these darn treekin won't die. No, they'll just shoot them to death anyways, right? Because treekin are that bad. I don't see it, guys. I don't think they cook. Why does water have such low leadership? You know, they want to flow away, right? They do have 54 speed, so I guess there's that. Little do we know it's 50% physical, 50% missile resist. If they do that, CA better buff ethereal units. Okay, let's give it the benefit of the doubt and say it's like an ethereal unit, right? 50. Oh, they do have perfect vigor. I guess that's cool. But let's say 50%, 55% physical resist, and 25% missile resist. That'll come up to 80%. I think 80% is still fine. I think 80% is like when it's like, okay, you know what? Now we're talking. 70% is only slightly better than like I think Treekin would just be better all around versus basic Archer Fire. But let's say it does have a ludicrous. You know what? Full benefit of the doubt. Let's say the unit has ethereal physical resist. Also nice, Adler made it. So let's say it has 55% physical resist. That means it will take as much damage as hex rates in melee. That's bad, man. Unless CA go crazy with the physical resist, like they're like, you know what? Let's give it 80% physical resist, right? Which is impossible. CA is incapable of having a unit not die to all sources of damage. That means that a basic Empire Knight charge would dumpster this poor thing, right? Because its melee attack is 26. So like cavalry that's already good versus high elves is just gonna dumpster this thing. Yeah, I don't see a world where this works. It's not AP, so cavalry would destroy this. Like, cavalry would absolutely have their way against this thing. Even if it did have 50% physical resist, which I don't think it will. Which means this unit's gonna have multiple counters. Most likely. Not to mention, it could have 100% physical resist. This unit could have 100% physical resist. I think it's still bad. Because there's so much magic in this game now. It's a defender unit meant to tank and not deal damage like the tree can. Did tree can see play in Conquest? If it sees play in Conquest, I can die happy that at least it sees play somewhere. But in Domination, I guess 54 speed. Would fast tree can be good? No, right? Well, I don't know. It's really going to come down to that tankiness. I think more than likely, though, it's going to have really bad resistances. And maybe it's just cheap. So tree can cost 900 gold, right? If this unit costs, say, 600 gold, it could actually be a pretty decent holding unit. Then again, oh man, I still can't get over the fact that it has 0 armor. So like 0 armor and like this HP pool is like, well, I guess it's not going to die in melee because of the melee defense. So you kind of have to kill it with cavalry. Let's pit like a unit of Chaos Warriors against this thing. I could actually see a unit of Oceanids holding against Chaos Warriors for a long time, who typically are really annoying for high elves. So there are some builds that probably wouldn't do super well against this. And then if you take Chaos Knight Lances, then yeah, maybe it's not bad. A unit of Minotaurs will dumpster this thing, though. On account of it, once again, not having any arm or not having enough physical resist. And Fleshhounds would murder it times 50, right? Yeah, like just, yeah, most cavalry just dumpster this. I don't. You can consider me highly skeptical. Though, if it's cheap enough, maybe we'll see Avalorn, Oceanid playstyle. Like, what if they're ludicrously cheap? How cheap would they... okay, you know what? New question. How cheap would this unit have to be for you to want to bring it? I think if this unit costs 500 gold, it would not be bad. Like, if we're talking significantly cheaper than Jade Warriors, I'd be like, hell yeah. Like, I would want this more than a High Elf Spear unit, right? I think we can all agree that at 500 gold, this is hype. That's very hype. They're gonna be like 1,000 at least. Don't jinx it, man. There's no way this thing's gonna cost 1,000 gold. See, it would not do us dirty, right? Let's say it costs 700 gold. So, what's at the 700 gold range? What are we looking at? Ship's Company. I feel like Ship's Company will actually be quite good. High elves need just cheap infantry. Okay, would I rather have a unit of Oceanids or a Lothern Sea Guard? Those are gold chevrons? No, I think they're bronze chevrons. They look pretty bronze to me. But I would say at 700 gold, I would rather have Lothern Sea Guard. Because there's spear infantry, right? They can shoot they can get a lot more work done here. I feel like a good price point for the unit is going to be at like the 600 gold range. Come Saturday, if it costs more than 700 gold, I'm not using the unit. Can't really tell on phone. I can't really tell on PC, man. It's hard to tell, but it's looking slightly more bronze than gold, I'd say. Especially because many of the other units are not chevroned. Very sure it's gonna be, that's bronze chevrons. But yeah, Trizic actually sent me the Sea Elemental. 10,000 HP, 70 melee defense. It is armor piercing anti-infantry. But once again, that really sketchy 0 armor, an unknown physical resist, and an unknown missile resist. Like, these units are gonna live and die based on how much physical resist they have. Physical and missile resist. But like, at the end of the day, magic damage hard counter this unit. If the unit is ever good, if you made it actually 100% physical resist, you would end up in a situation where people would just hard counter it with spells. So like, you know, every Empire build would run Flaming Sword. I guess, you know, we'd see more Flaming Sword. I would be down for that. But yeah, it would be aspect of the Dread Knight, Flaming Sword. Given that ghosts have 55%, I think it's very unlikely that they have more than 55%. Ghosts used to have 70%, but they got nerfed. Is magic damage considered a contact effect? I don't believe so. That would be a really weird way to just give a unit ward save, but yeah, I'm almost certain it does not count. Buff spells in this economy. But yeah, it's kind of like when Doombolt was OP. There was counterplay to counter it. You just have to bring it all the time. But yeah, I don't. I think this unit's gonna be Garbo. It's gonna be Garbo, and if line of sight still sucks, it's gonna block line of sight. I don't know if your archers will be able to shoot over them. I'm very skeptical. I think in campaign, where you can stack physical resist, it'll be way better though. Like, I think it will be a fan favorite in campaign. Hot garbage in multiplayer, calling it right now. Navigator really likes this one build. Is he doing a challenge? The one build challenge. 2 gunnery whites, some bomber bats, and then all these guys. Does he still have? He still has the hunger on Noctilus. If Noctilus sees melee this game, I'll be flabbergasted. Against this much ranged, oh my gosh! All right. Oh, seeing the gunnery whites chilling. Stagger animation helping them dodge some arrows. Units, if they're not moving, they will kind of stagger and jerk back. And range units take that into account when shooting. Very nice way of avoiding fire without having to micro. Capture point number 1's being secured. And bomber bats are in. Unfortunately for them, armored Kossars are kind of brutal. Noctilus gets a cannonballs from this guy. That's his Wraith Storm ability. Kills off 10 armored Kossars, takes out about 40% of their HP. Not bad, but if they use all their ammunition, it's not exactly a great situation. And as for the handgunners, so far they don't have too many targets, but the Ice Witch is moving on in. No target fire on the Ice Witch yet, though. So instead, it's gonna be the Bomber Swarm. Gets a pretty nice scab scrat, hits the Kossars. And Bomber Bats, they were not bad. Getting their volleys off. They're going to be breaking one of the Kossar units. It's actually pretty crazy that he's stacking up the bombers, but it looks like they're actually shooting. Bombers. Not doing too bad. Damage is all right. Ice Witch is in the backfield. And Noctilus finds himself in a little bit of an awkward situation. He's taking a little bit of damage. He has Winds of Death. Oh, okay. Hit some armored Kossars. Hits a couple of these guys. Honestly, not the best Winds of Death I've ever seen. Only hitting the one armored Kossar. And there's a little bit of an issue here, too. And that's that the vast majority of the Kislev range corps is still alive. Now, Bomber Bats will have some say there. And you know what? There's a chance that the Bomber Bats, if they can actually trade into the Kossars, that's a winning play for Coast. Because it'll be very hard to resummon the ranged to get back value. And in a melee fight, it ain't too bad. He could also get the Scurvy Dogs on these guys. It's going to come down to how well Mr. Adler actually micros his cavalry to defend them. But maybe this isn't a terrible situation. ROR thing in the woods, they prevent healing. So they'll be able to bully the Gunnery Whites. And if the Ice Witch... Also, I don't know what that sound effect is, but it's very annoying. But yeah, if the Ice Witch goes down, it'd be pretty bad. But if it kills the White Kings or the Gunnery Whites, it's not the worst. He also makes the misplay of using Invocation of Nahek on a Gunnery White that is being affected by the Mordheim Beowulfs. So I think he didn't get as much healing as he should have. I think it's this ability. I think the Mordheim Beowulfs. I think this Dark Blood Tainted is just... It's really loud. We're gonna zoom out a bit so that we don't have to hear it. My ears! Oh my gosh. But yeah, so far it looks like the Beowulfs are dead though. The Lord is having a bit of a rough time. A little sketchy for Kislev, but I'd say they're not entirely out just yet. Lil Grom has been pounding Noctilus for a really long time. He hasn't been healing either. Cavalry's in. But big misplay from Kislev. Navigator gets the jump on a bunch of archers. Although these are armored Kossars, they should actually hold fairly well. But the rest of the archers are dead. And without a lot of value to their name, this means that there won't be a lot of late game options for Kislev to come back. And generally in a more stable trading environment where you're just kind of grinding infantry on infantry, I would say the lead goes to the Vampire Coast. I think Navigator will be able to win here based on the circumstances. He has the capture points, and Kislev really suck at killing deckhand mobs. This is 12,000 HP worth of capture weight. The Ice Witch is definitely not going to kill them. The cavalry is not going to kill them. You basically need the archers. But then again, there's not a lot of summons for Vampire Coast. I think Navigator's probably saving up, waiting for maybe some zombie resummons. His build also just might not have the maximum number of deckhands. And if that's the case, Kislev has a chance. He's actually going for more bombers too, which is, I would say, slightly risky, as it gives Kislev some opportunities to maybe come back. Gets a good invocation of Nahek though. So those Gunnery Whites are going to be chilling. But Noctilus is in a bad spot. The Patriarch 2. Silax Lullaby is activated. And Noctilus is actually gonna die. This is gonna be pretty rough for Vampire Coast. Where's the zombie summons, man? No zombie summons. He's gone full bomber bat. What a mad lad. That might actually screw him over, because like I don't know what the crap Kislev's supposed to do against Halberd spam at this point. I guess they do have like a couple armored Cossars, but I don't think the bomber bats will actually do super well versus the lancers and such, right? Like they're gonna kill off the infantry. That's nice. But if Kislev gets these points back, it's pretty over. Are we gonna see a summon? There has to be more zombies, man. Is there anything left? Bombers getting a decent amount of damage on the lancers, actually. But the second gunnery white is starting to go down. Infantry's chilling. And yeah, it's just bats. Little Grom definitely got its value, and a D-summon too. That definitely helps out Kislev and gives them more cav summons for capture weight. By sniping Noctilus out, I think, yeah, really did its job. And oh my gosh, a full shatter from the deckhands. Very rarely seen, as you have to get them to minus 50 leadership to actually get that down. And the gunnery white goes down. I think, yeah, I feel like Navigator was in a pretty decent spot in the early game after killing off all the ranged. But then when he hunkered down and just started spamming bombers, he just didn't really have any of these guys. Like, for each deck dropper bomber, you could get 2 zombie mobs. He had 4 of them. Imagine if he had, you know, 8 zombie mobs to spread out on these points right now. 2 zombie mobs here, capture this point. 3 zombie mobs here, capture this point. And then another 3 here, hold this point. I feel like that would have done it. The thing in the woods also trade really badly. But no, oh, actually, wait. This is a depth guard. Okay, all right. I dig it. Behold, the most elite of the Vampire Coast. Yeah, way too many bats. Some of them are even going into melee too. All right, let's see the depth guard. They do have 7 capture weight. Not gold to capture weight efficient, but they can technically beat the cavalry. Is he not even going to fight them though? Oh my gosh, Adler. Adler just disengaging from the poor depth guard. But we are finally seeing some resummon. So we got some pole arms over here. This will definitely be really hard to deal with. There's a non-zero chance Navigator might actually still clutch it out. Because look at the ticket situation, right? Kislev is still behind. If he desummons all the bomber bats now and then spams zombies, he might still win. He has enough for another deckhand. And if you look at the capture weight situation, he actually has basically equal capture weight to Kislev, despite the kind of awkward situation. He could potentially still win. This is just another Beowulfs. There really is not that much to clear infantry. Now I think rear charges will still be real nasty, like a Griffin Legion charge on these guys. So given the fact that Kislev can really just take their time, it's kind of sus. And he summons another bomber. All right. It's really weird that he's not being more aggressive with the bombers, by the way. Perhaps he's just trying to defend his depth guard. But time is of the essence. You have to uptrade, Navigator. And you got to uptrade soon. There's some juicy infantry over here that maybe you can bully, but it looks like he really wants to go for the cavalry. Maybe the Cossars. A little bit of idling. But he's made it onto 1 point with the deckhands. You can see how annoying they are, right? They're just catching some Griffin Legion, just being annoying. And there we go. Bombs away on the Griffin Legion. Damage is okay. Griffin Legion. Yeah, you see, look at that charge, man. That was a lackluster charge. Imagine if you had like 5 more of these pole arms, man. Obviously, he's already been spamming pole arms, but really surprised that we don't see more deckhands. But Navigator, he's trying to get on point. The bats are attempting to shoot. Last I checked, there was a bug in the game, though, that made bats really bad at shooting. They're friendly firing themselves. They're friendly firing themselves. Oh my god, the absolute garbage. And these ones are they even shooting? Okay, there we go. Decent volley over there. Oh my god, these guys they keep friendly firing themselves. Man, that's brutal. He's losing at least like 10% of his DPS just from that alone. Pretty brutal. These guys haven't summoned at least twice. They have 900 value. I guess they're technically paying for themselves, but not by much. Note to self, don't stack bats. Yeah, I've never been that impressed by the bomber bats. You get a couple volleys here. Look at that damage. Little bit of damage over there, but having no Lord and getting constantly charged by Wing Lancers and Griffin Legion, I think Kislev just has a bit too much. Death Guard pole arms are never going to actually get into a fight. Despite being vampires, they are quite slow. I believe in lore, vampires are at least 50% faster than a person. But Depth Guard, I guess that armor and pole arms is just a little bit too much for these guys. Oh man, brutal. And I think the Kislevites are going to be able to win. Bet Adler wish he had Crystal Sanctuary to survive this. Yeah, crazy bomber value. Oh my god, they keep friendly firing. At least it's not doing a lot of damage to self, but Kislev take the win. Congratulations, Mr. Adler. Little Grom in reserve was disgusting. Oh my god. Also, by the way, Noctilus did not get to use the Hunger that game. I feel like the Hunger versus Kislev is a crazy pick, but Navigator was clearly enjoying himself with a very similar build back to back. And he made it to finals, which is impressive. But yeah, if Little Grom gets you 2,600 value and then desummons, I'm pretty sure you're a dead man. Little Grom costs 1,400, so it got basically double its value over the course of that game, and quite quickly too. Gotta be feeling good about taking that option. Lord got 2,400 thanks to the Patriarch. Honestly, not a terrible Kislev build. I liked it. Armored Cossors were actually really annoying, it seems, for Vampire Coast to deal with. But I don't know if he would have beaten a Mantide, because the overall damage is quite low. Only 4 archers means that, honestly, if Navigator just took the maximum number of zombies and just resummoned them into the horizon, I think he would have won. Although he did start with a lot of zombies. But he didn't resummon them very quickly, right? Like, I feel like the deckhand mobs are the quintessential resummon for Vampire Coast. But a fun game nonetheless. Now, tomorrow, I am going... Adler, congrats on the win. Tomorrow, I am going to take a day off. I'm going to take a day off. I'm going to sit back, relax, chill. Because on Saturday, we are going to be covering the DLC units. It's going to be hype. I will be able to show it off on stream. We're going to look at the nitty gritty, the greats, the bads. And it's going to be a long stream, probably at 12 p.m. EST. So that's 1 hour earlier than I usually start my streams. So keep an eye out and get hyped, because it's finally DLC season once again. The long winter is done for. Oh my god. Congratulations, Adler. Happy to have you in chat. And I hope you guys had a great time. I'll see you guys then. Peace. And bye-bye.